Oh, can you hear that? I can't hear that. You
Nope.
can't hear that.
Nope.
You can't hear that either. Weird.
Nope.
Interesting.
Kanpai!
Kanpai! Do you want to redo that, or do you want to just keep going?
Let's remember it for when we get to the memes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Good point.
For those at home, we could not hear our own intro.
Yeah.
Well, Nasuth could, but we couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
So,
no one could
welcome
hear
one
it.
and all to episode 156 of Kanpai Cast, where this episode we are doing the summer 2024 full season review.
Oh, I know what it's done.
So, before we started, just a little housekeeping, which is the usual YouTube malarkey: like, comment, subscribe. Links in the description for everything. Come visit us on Discord. Come visit us when Nasuth or Xeno are streaming on Twitch or YouTube. If you want to suggest a new topic for our show, or if you want to be, if you're I don't know, maybe you are a content creator and actually want to be part of the show, special guest, get in touch. You know, we love having people on the show.
Yeah, just jump into the Discord, right? Go into the description, find the Discord, and find either myself, Thaylien, or Nasuth, and just message us through the Discord.
Absolutely.
You should be able to do that.
There is an audio-only version of the cast up. You pop that into your RSS feed. Again, links in the description. And if you're listening to our audio version, welcome to you. Come on over to the YouTube version where you can view our memes at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Best part, as we all know.
And you can leave a comment on the episode. Let us know how terrible we are. 156 episodes in, still having technical difficulties.
Of course we are. We're super professional, we are. So, do we want to get on with the show?
Yeah, let's get on with it. Let's do it. Go on, Nasuth.
Should we start with the dropped anime just for the sake of...
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Everybody's information.
Yep. Okay, so these are the ones that are dropped for a multitude of different reasons. Actually, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure how many of these were even started. So I had previously dropped a Nobody's Way to an Exploration Hero. Sorry, a Nobody's Way Up to an Exploration Hero. I previously dropped Failure Frame. The strongest magician in the Demon Lord's army was a human, and I recently dropped Red Cat Ramen. That's just because I had like too much to do.
Such a shame.
The other shows that we have in this list, I think were previously added for the rom-com episode with Andrew. So because they're this season, the current year. Yeah, so that's why they're... I don't think any of us had actually started Days with My Stepsister, Love is Indivisible by Twins, or Too Many Losing Heroines. Though, I've seen so many cool clips of Too Many Losing Heroines, and I'm actually tempted to pick it up. So...
Maybe it's got a dub out.
To see what we pick up for the... You have to see what we come up with for the coming season.
Oh god, I've got too many. I've got too many shows for next season already. I'm gonna have to drop some of them. Anyway... Let's go ahead and start. So, I have actually got a couple of extra ones because they were pickups from last season that finished this season. So, but I'm not going to start with those. I'm going to start with the one that didn't quite get to 12 episodes this season, and that is Tasuuketsu, Fate of the Majority, otherwise known as this season's survival game, but Darwin game or whatever you want to call it. Again, only 11 episodes, can't technically, and I'm pretty sure it's going to end on a cliffhanger. But there've already, Crunchyroll has already teased a second season, although there is no official announcement yet. So, take it as a single season so far. But that said, I'm still giving this an acquired taste 1 star, which is up from a nothing special 3. Now, why, you may ask? That is because it had a twist that I did not expect to see coming in this show, and I kind of really appreciate that. Like, everything else is relatively predictable, right? But then this happened, and it was like, wow.
Question.
Uh-huh.
Did the stamps come up?
He didn't.
I didn't hit the stamp. I didn't hit the stamp. Good point. I am
Thank you, Thaylien.
falling down
like
on
you
the
just-
job. Acquired taste, 1 star. There we go.
There it is.
So the in this section we get the real goal of Tasuuketsu being revealed, exactly what the Emperor wants. The MC, the main character, is somehow blocked from getting primed rights. Which again, so the twist in the game from the beginning that the extra thing that sets this apart from other Darwin games, I guess, even though other Darwin games have this as well, is that every person can get a power. Not every person has a power, but they can get a power if they find one of these rights somewhere out in the wild. And there are prime rights, and I can't remember what the lesser version is called, but there are 2 levels of rights. One of them works, no matter what, and the other one mostly works unless the person you're using it against has extremely high willpower. And so that's, like one of them has the prime right of the regular right of compliance, which means they can make people do things unless they really, 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 really don't want to do that thing. But then somebody else has the prime right of obedience, which, no matter how hard you try, you must do the thing. It gets a lot better. One of my main complaints in the first half was that they do this thing where they don't drop info, like an event will happen or they'll make a plan, but we, the audience, won't see that plan being made until later when it plays out, and then they go back and sort of fill you in. They got a lot better about that in the second half, so that's really good. It still happens a little bit, but it's not too, there's one point where the teacher who previously betrayed them finds some notes that had been left behind about the Emperor and how to find him, and we, the audience, don't see what's in those notes until he catches back up with our group and tells them about it. But that was the only instance I could really think of, aside from maybe the very, very end plan. I expected... So if Bye Bye Earth explains a little too, not quite enough of what's going on, this one almost over-explains. Part of that is probably to just fill time. It's a filler, so that they can really, stretch out these moments. But I prefer that to explaining too little. I expected a few more weird. So the idea of Tasuuketsu is somebody will pose a question like, "Are you in Tokyo right now?" And if the answer is, or if the majority of people are in Tokyo, they die. So it's whoever answers.
It's the majority loses.
The majority loses. Yes.
Yeah.
And I expected more of those questions and less shifting alliances and stuff. But that's actually what we got, was more shifting alliances, which was, it's all right. It's not what I prefer, but at least they kind of made sense in the way they were shifting. They also actually came up with a final, with a good plan to catch the Emperor, and that's kind of the twist, is that they get to the Emperor in episode 9, and then there's 3 more episodes to get through after that. Which is, obviously it's set up for season 2, but I didn't expect it to happen that soon. I expected maybe episode 12 or 11 or something. But no, episode 10, he's out, and the main character's dead. And it's like, wait, what? How are you continuing this show? That's why I knocked this up higher, is because I really, really did not expect that. And yeah, I guess that's really about all I have to say about it. It's more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
I guess it is actually an interesting premise for the big meta thing. It's like Family Feud, but with only 2 answers on the board.
Yeah. The idea of Tasuuketsu itself, yeah. But I like that they answered all the questions. Well, okay, almost all the questions. We still don't know exactly where the prime rights and stuff come from. They make vague allusions to it being human greed, like given form somehow. But how exactly they're given form and what happens to them now that they've been released with the death of the Emperor is like, that hasn't really been explained. And I don't know if it will be, but even without, everything else has been explained, and the plans actually made sense, and like I was surprised by a lot of that. After things like Battle After 5 Seconds, it's nice to see a show where things make sense.
Can I ask, like, how is the animation in this show? Does it, like, remain consistent, or does it start to, like, decrease? Because there are several screenshots that we have here, and the animation looks great, but there are several which are like, these are tactics used by people that don't have the capacity to do, like, full-blown proper animation. Does it decrease, or does it remain consistent?
I would say it's pretty consistent throughout the show. It's not the greatest. It's very
average.
You know how shonen tends to use a lot of thick lines and bold shadows and stuff. There's a lot of that.
Right.
It's very much in that sort of genre, of vein of animation where it's not spectacular, but it's not terrible either. It's just kind of good.
Fair enough. Right. Should we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Cool. So I'm going to smash out two of mine quickly. One is 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. The reason why I'm smashing this out quickly is only because it's still currently airing, right? Previously I gave it an Acquired Star 1 taste, and
or even the other way around.
Acquired Taste 1 star. Alright, my bad.
We're all firing on all cylinders today.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna remain there. I think it's gonna remain Acquired Taste 1 star. The part of the narrative problem with the show is it kind of really lingers on plot points. So, like, story arcs take several episodes, and like this could have been one episode, maybe 2 episodes. And though it's not the end of the world, it's not really anything to write home about. The reason why it has it's maintained the Acquired Taste is there are humorous parts in it which do genuinely have me bursting out laughing, like, stuff I just don't expect in things. So, and it kind of shows some of the good side of humanity, which, with the current state of affairs in the world, I think we need some happiness in our lives. So, yeah, it's currently still ongoing. It's a 2-core series, so I only watched the first 12 episodes. Even though the 13th episode is out, I currently avoided. Animation is okay. It's not the best, but there are a crap ton of internal monologues. So many internal monologues. Right.
Is it more than Death Note?
I don't know, because I didn't get past the tennis match. So
he has a good point, Thaylien.
Maybe not. The other one that I'm going to smash out, and this is because I only found out 2 hours before we're due to record. So it's Atori, My Dear Moments, right? It's 13 episodes, and the 13th episode hasn't bloody aired yet, and it's just like, so this isn't a full. You said
Atori. Is it Atori or is it Atri?
It's Atri.
No, it's actually Atori.
Atori, okay. Alright.
Yeah, it should be Atri, right? But they actually explain the origin of the name, and for some strange reason, like, when the character was named, they just decided to remove the O from the syllable. And it's just
Interesting.
like, why?
Okay.
Yeah, it's named after. Sorry, the character's named after a bird. Anyway, previously I gave this a 1-star must watch. I have to drop it down to a 4-star acquired taste. Right.
Wow.
So it is a good series. The animation is phenomenal. It looks gorgeous, right? But there are elements in the narrative which really heavily push will they, won't they, with an AI, and it's just like, this is weird. Like, it gets so much more dramatic, right? It's not a rom-com by any means of the words, but it does get so much more dramatic, and I can kind of tell where this is gonna go, and it's just like, it kind of feels in parts as you're watching this is some sick person's fetish writing or something like that, and it's just like,
the author's barely disguised fetish.
Yeah, barely disguised fetish, and it's like, no, it's not okay. It's like, can we please not? As I said,
so she's a robot girl, right?
Yeah, she's an android.
Is that sort of where the author's barely disguised fetish is leaning? Is towards robot girls who are who look like high schoolers? Or is it something you don't want to get into on YouTube?
I don't want to correct you.
Okay.
You're not far from it.
Okay.
You just got 1 point wrong, right? But I'm not going to correct you. So, but the thing is, like, it spends too long exploring one of these narrative points, and it's or a number of these narrative points. It's just like, if it wasn't for the fact that I was able to binge the vast majority of it earlier today, because I watched from episode 7 to 12 today, like, I would have dropped this. I would have happily dropped this. But I was kind of already invested in it. It's a very original concept, but I see that barely disguised face. Anyway.
At least when Krillin did it, he knew she was 18.
Oh, fuck you so much. God damn it. Like, also, amazing art. Animation is gorgeous. It is so
good. Watching it on our slides, and it looks, all the stills look absolutely crisp with the backgrounds very, very clean.
Yep. Right, should we move on?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to pick up one I actually found funny this season, which is Suicide Squad Isekai.
Now, when you say funny, do you mean unintentionally funny? Oh.
No, I mean intentionally funny.
Okay.
So when I reviewed it at the halfway mark, the 6th episode mark, it was a nothing special 3. It has gone up to an acquired taste 2.
Surprising.
Now, this is because while the show seems a little bit confused in the early half, where it is trying to do more Suicide Squad than Isekai, and it's throwing them into situations where they're not too they can't seem to really operate in the same kind of space they would normally. It really picks up the second that there are other members of the Rogues Gallery to fight against, and so the combination of the other world's politics and then the fact that other villains are on the opposing side suddenly comes together to make it an actual fun action romp through this other world, where they're not good people. They're not doing good things, but they're doing them, to try and in the same way that the Suicide Squad always does, which is at gunpoint they are going to go and save the day.
Yeah.
And the plot does pick up as well. It's turns out that the kingdoms are at war because somebody is pulling the strings to make there be war and chaos, and it's spoiler territory as to who. We see some interesting situations with both sides, with our squad we're following and the other side. They bring in Enchantress as one of the villains that they have to fight against, but Enchantress is clearly acting because she's had something held over her head, and so little hints give that away at the early points, and there is some genuine comedy when they figure out what it is of hers that's been stolen and what they have to give back to her to get her on their side. I'm sorry, I would be in spoilers to get the comedy there. It embraces the Suicide Squad chaos, and it makes it lots of fun because of it.
I have a question. Does it being anime actually bring anything to the table, or could this have just been a Western production through their usual studios and stuff?
No, they wouldn't have got half the energy that they bring into this in live action. No,
not live action. Their usual animation studios. Because DC,
I think they
DC
wouldn't have been able to
stuff
get
is always amazing. Almost always.
You're not wrong, and I think that being an anime allowed them to have a few different takes on situations that made them funnier. So, if you were asked what the most famous scene in cinema is, you certainly wouldn't have picked straight off the bat the sinking into the molten metal from Terminator. With the thumbs up at the end. But Clayface, being obsessed with with getting his cinematic debut and roles and things, being an actor in this thing, reenacts that and forgetting that he's in another world. And so when everybody goes, that was a neat trick, he said, what? But it's the most famous scene in cinema that I reenacted for you. You should be amazed. Not everybody would have picked that one.
This is quite interesting. Like, so does it? I think one of the best comparisons here to elaborate on my question is Cyberpunk Edgerunners felt like the writing truly came from Japanese minds. Yeah, they took the source material of a Western production and then just like, okay, Japanese. What was it? Was it
Japanifying beam?
Yeah, Japanifying beam. There you go.
Yeah, I guess.
Does the production of this feel like it comes from the minds of which studio? Who
yes,
it does.
Okay, so one of the things they like to do, right, is give Harley flashbacks to when she's, with the Joker committing crimes, and then apply that to the episode they're about to do. So, and it's a very, it's not the way that DC Animation would have done it. DC Animation would have said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's the plan. And then they would say at the end of it, this is why it worked, because it's a thing where they showed the flashback to the Joker with Harley, and it's Harley's idea, and they would have revealed it all at the end as some great big, see, this was the plan when we did it perfectly. But in this case, it's the other way around. So
do they actually show other characters as well? Like, is it Deadshot?
Yes, Deadshot.
Yeah, does he have those sorts of moments, or is it only with Harley?
No, I think in this case, Harley is the protagonist of this particular story. As she was in the last movie, the good movie.
She wasn't the only. No, I felt it was good.
She definitely had the most protagonist time, and some of the best scenes.
You know about that? I don't know.
So
I feel Idris Elba's character also carried a lot.
Oh yeah, he had great character development and put a lot through that. But then again, so did Ratcatcher or Ratcatcher 2. So
right.
So I think this is actually quite a successful anime. It's not the best out there, but if you go in looking for Suicide Squad in an anime setting, this will give you Suicide Squad in an anime setting. Even the fact that the princess looks like Harley without makeup came through in the end. So
cool.
Yeah.
Unexpected. Especially given the Amanda Waller outro dance.
God.
Yeah. I skip that every time.
Right. Let's take How to Become Ordinary, which was my slice of life for the season that surprised me with how good it was. To the point of, this wasn't a Acquired Taste 5. It's actually, I may be being a bit generous here, but I'm giving it a must-watch 3. And that's, it's a bit of a downer, right? But there's another show later that I'm going to talk about later where it's all hopeful. And just like it's sometimes nice to really have something that's really hopeful, sometimes it's also kind of nice to have one of those downer animes that you know, it's not really a downer. I'll try to explain as we get into it. First off, the animation quality never dips, 100% gorgeous the whole way through. Same for the music. There's one point where our female protagonist is kidnapped. This is at the very end, towards the very end of the season, and we get this effect of off-kilter music while he's trying to search for her, mixed with the stylistic internal panic. So I talked before about how sometimes when they're doing these deductions, they kind of it shows them going around in different locations, like mentally, like it'll show them on a bridge talking. The bridge doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's just to show sort of their internal space, right? And so you see that again reprised, but it's like her with a blindfold walking around and him frantically running to places where they have been, you know, looking for her. And the combination of those two is really good, really artistic. Initially, the new story doesn't seem to be much of a mystery. There's a girl who has a drug problem, or has a problem with she's gotten caught up with drug pushers, and so one of our characters, not our two main characters, but the third friend that they've picked up earlier, is trying to help her out. He's been recruited to help her out, and but then this plays in to the abduction that I just mentioned, and I had to ask myself at the time, because we've already seen that Ossan, the girl, has created... I'm sorry, the boy, whose name I can't remember at the moment, created a mystery for Ossan to solve. And I was wondering, well, this is the end of summer. Is she somehow doing the same thing for him? And I don't want to give it away, but that issue is resolved later on. And not in the way that I thought it would be. Every time I worry that things are starting to get a little too slow, there's a new mystery that crops up to you know, sort of put things back on track. And then again, I don't want to give away the ending because I really enjoyed this so much. But there is actually a season-long mystery that I did not pick up on until the end, and then like all the clues are there. Holy crap, all the clues were there the entire time. I just didn't pick up on them. And there's also the whole since this is a sort of slice of life rom-com, and one of the most important problems in those is the will they won't they. It is resolved by the end of this. Now you might be able to guess how it's resolved, given that I said this is kind of a downer, but I thought it was handled really well. It turned out, you know, it made sense, and it showed them moving on from that too, which was really nice to see. So overall, I really enjoyed this. Maybe it's just because I don't have a lot of experience with rom-coms that turn out to be not rom-coms, romance, slice of life stuff that turns out to be good. But I really, really enjoyed it. I thought this was excellent.
I find that interesting. You said just when you think you're about to get bored, it brings up something new, and that is the permit of the slice of life genre, where each one it's not episodic, but it will bring up the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I'm glad you found that interesting in this particular case, because it was themed so differently.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were just treading the same ground in the way a lot of them tend to feel to me.
Fair enough.
Cool.
So that was How to Become Ordinary.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Thaylien.
Move on.
Yes.
Right. Time for Terminator Zero.
Oh. Getting it out of the way early.
A special review going on here.
I have to get this out of the way early because I'm not going to fucking remember the whole goddamn thing, right? Right.
He's already purging it from his memory as we speak.
I'm trying hard, man. I'm trying so hard to purge it from my memory. Right, so, before Nasuth presses any buttons and everything, I'm gonna talk about what it's like to watch this series without prior knowledge to the Terminator franchise, what it's like going in knowing stuff about the Terminator franchise, and then I'm just gonna give everyone heads up. I'm gonna spoil the shit out of the end of this series, because it's fundamentally important of going over it to the point of I'm gonna be drawing diagrams for people. So if you're on the YouTube version, you're gonna get to see the diagrams. If you're on the audio only version, I'll do my damnedest to explain as I'm going, right? So
should we put that on the Discord once the episode releases, just to aid people?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could just like do this one thing, and
I could cut it out as a short or something.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So if you have no prior experience to the Terminator franchise, I would give this probably a 1-star acquired taste.
Do you want me to actually? Okay.
No. Right. However, having lots of experience with the Terminator franchise, right, this is like a 2-star nothing special. Right? Animation-wise, it's gorgeous. Project IG knocked it out of the park. It's great that
one of these days he'll actually start saying production IG.
What did I say?
Project.
Damn it, production IG. But the the pacing of the show is horrible. The like, if you couldn't binge the whole thing in one sitting, I would have just given up the world. If I had to watch this weekly, I would have given up by episode 3, right? They tried to recapture a lot of the elements of Terminator 2 Judgment Day by having kids involved. The kids are annoying. They are so infuriating, and they bring next to nothing to the narrative except for just causing hijinks, right? You know, people have to go out of their way to go help the kids, when if the kids just sat still for all of 5 fucking seconds, there wouldn't be a problem. The narrative is pretty transparent in who some of the characters are, right? But ultimately shits on the entire Terminator franchise in the last episode, and this is what upsets me the most about this. Additionally, this is a Netflix production with an open-ended story, right? There is no guarantee we're going to get a season 2, right? So it's like, That's if that's your one and done, that was awful, right? If it gets a season 2 and actually properly gets a season 2, awesome, thumbs up. But I mean, I've not heard. Nasuth's looking it up right now. The fact that it's on Reddit and I don't think there's anything that officially, nothing confirms that there's actually a season 2 in production. Right. It's not good, and I am now prepared to go into drawing mode and spoil the shit out of it and explain why none of this makes any fucking goddamn sense. So we're just going to pause for a moment while we get this all configured. Come on, Nasuth. Right, so for those who are somewhat familiar with the Terminator franchise, you'll recognize nothing at all because that's not drawing anything. Whoops. Very professional. Much wow. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Right. So you'll notice that this is a straight line, right?
Definitely not a
out of
line.
interest. Out of interest, how? Sorry, between the pair of you, have you both seen the first 2 Terminator films?
Yes.
James Cameron ones. Right, okay. How much do you remember of the dates and things when it comes to the first Terminator movie?
Not at all.
Cool,
Not
right.
a lot of specific ones.
I know that I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Judgment Day was supposed to have happened in the late 90s? Early 2000s? Yeah.
No, that's correct. Right. So...
But then they changed that in Terminator 3 and whatever.
Don't get me started. Right.
So they sent Terminator back from 2029
Yeah,
to 1984.
Right. So, no. So Skynet sends a Terminator back to 1984 because in 1997, Skynet goes online and at the
Takes
end
the world.
of August, it becomes self-aware. It's not instant. Everyone keeps on thinking that it's instant, but it comes online the 4th of August 1997, and then by the 29th of August 1997, it becomes self-aware and launches nuclear weapons at Russia. Right? This is important, right? But in the future, John Connor has become a huge pain to Skynet. Skynet is losing the war, so it sends a Terminator back to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor before John is born. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It had so many
at
other
the
options, like biological warfare or more nukes. But, decided time travel was the best thing.
And then John sent Kyle Reese back to 1984 at the same time. Right? Then, in again, that's Terminator 1, right? So that's the first Terminator movie, right? Then, in Terminator 2, Skynet also sends another Terminator to 1995 in another attempt to kill John, right? And John sends...
Specifically John, not
Specifically
his mother.
John. Yeah, because John's alive. And it's an attempt to kill John Connor with the Liquid Terminator, the T-1000. But John also sends the T-800 to go back in time and act as his protector.
Now,
Right?
what's really weird is that we've already altered the timeline because at the end of Terminator 1, John's mother decides to, go live with militia and make sure that John gets raised to be trained in, military combat and stuff and to know all these things about the future. And
Right. So here's a real fundamental important thing about Terminator. Right. The Terminator franchise does not care about paradoxes. Right. Because the whole premise is that Kyle Reese goes back in time to father John Connor, right? Kyle was always John's father. So the whole idea is, in reality, it's circular, right?
Yeah, that first movie is a closed loop, which shouldn't create a paradox.
Yes.
In theory.
Right? In principle, right?
I think it's called a bootstrap paradox, but I can't remember for sure.
But the whole thing is that in Terminator 2, you have no fate but what you make, right? It's the huge running theme of the movie, so you can change the future. So in 1995, they take the opportunity with Miles Dyson to not make Skynet and create an alternate timeline, right? Basically, getting rid of this entire future, right? So they get rid of Skynet, they don't produce Skynet, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the other movies because you have, I think it's like 2003, with Terminator 3, and then you have, it was 1998, with Terminator Dark Fate. So this is T3, T2, TDF, and it's
Genesis
it's a
fits in there
massive mess.
somewhere, yeah.
Genesis technically doesn't fit, because
it's like
they
alternate
changed
dimensions
it.
or something, yeah.
No, they changed it to 2015 when Skynet goes and sends the Terminator back, to 1984, which then goes back to 2009 or some shit like that, and it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
The whole point is the Terminator franchise turns into an utter dumpster fire,
Yes.
right?
So
Okay.
this is where it gets into spoiler territory for the show.
Yeah,
That we
so
watched.
let's
Ping that on, shall we?
get rid of all this hot garbage. Right, okay. Fucking...
Nasuth, poke the spoiler button.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, right. So this is where Terminator Zero becomes an absolute mess. And I've actually had to make a load of notes on my other screen just so I actually get this correct, right? So, the series starts within 2002. A character by the name of Echo goes back in time to prevent another AI going live. Right? So, during the events of Terminator Zero, the idea is that the main protagonist, who's by a guy by the name of Malcolm Lee, has created another AI in parallel to Skynet. Right? This does work in terms of a narrative. I can guarantee you that. But
It's also the plot of season 2 of Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Well, keep that to yourself. So she goes back in time to stop this other AI called Kokoro from going live, right? So why she goes back to the specific day that it's going live, I don't bloody know. I think that's a bad choice, but a choice nonetheless. But it turns out. So like the idea is that we now have another divergent timeline. It turns out that this isn't the original timeline that she actually comes from, right? She actually comes from this other timeline. Let's see if I can actually rub out this line. She doesn't come from this one. She comes from this one, right? Which again is 2022, right? She goes back in time.
So there's somehow it's doing the whole genuinely the bootstrap thing where the timeline that she's created is the one she's sending herself back to cause.
No.
No?
So it turns out I hate this because it's unreliable narrator bollocks, right? Turns out in this offshoot timeline here, right? The one, let's say, spawned by Terminator 2, in 2045, right? Malcolm Lee goes back in time to 1983.
What?
Right? He's from the future. And he creates the AI that's supposed to fight Skynet.
Yeah. Again, that's Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Right? So, sorry, I just realized the 2045 is just off the screen.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we know
so he goes back in time to do this, and he was born in 2024, right? This is important, right? So he ends up creating Kokoro, which goes and creates an alternate timeline, and Kokoro fights Skynet, and she does it on behalf of humanity to sort of so you've got two AIs that are fighting each other. But in 2022, this other character by the name of Echo goes back in time to stop Malcolm Lee from launching Kokoro in 1997, right? At the same time,
now
why Terminator?
Why do they want to stop him? Is it because they work for Skynet, or is it because?
No, honestly, genuinely don't know, and this is what fucks me off. Right, but it turns out a Terminator has also been sent back in time to I do something. It's like turn Kokoro into a slave of Skynet. Right? So she's trying to stop Skynet while the Terminator's trying to enslave Kokoro. Sorry, she's trying to stop Kokoro while he's trying to enslave Kokoro. Right? But it turns out that Terminator wasn't sent from 2022, but instead was sent from 2035 by Malcolm's oldest son, right? Who had brokered a peace deal between Skynet and humanity in 2035, right? This is the final episode of Terminator Zero. It's a fucking travesty. It's a goddamn mess and doesn't make any sense. But it gets worse, gentlemen, right? It gets fucking worse.
How? How does it get worse?
Right. So, oops, I didn't mean to press that. Right. So, why... what? Oh,
there we go.
Right. Why, gentlemen, did Skynet send a Terminator to kill John?
Kyle? Or John? Yeah.
John. Oh, so there should be an arrow there. Like, okay. Why did Skynet send?
Well, we're talking about originally and not now,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was the leader of the Resistance.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, Terminator 1 or Terminator 2. Why did Skynet
because he was the leader of the Resistance, and they figured getting rid of him would make it easier for Skynet to just take over and win.
Yeah, it would like, you know, Skynet would win.
It would essentially break the Resistance.
Yes,
because not having John Connor born would not interfere with Skynet being born. It would just prevent the leader of the Resistance being born.
Exactly.
Right. So Terminator Zero decided, you know what? There's a lot of paradoxes within the Terminator franchise.
There sure are.
Let's fix this by having multiverse theory.
they were kind of headed that way anyway with Genesis. But yeah.
Right? And it's just like so all the efforts of Skynet going back in time to kill off the various different characters for the resistance leaders to it's like there is no reason to do any of this because it doesn't change results for you, right?
Well,
you sending
theory, if a Skynet wins, they might be able to develop dimensional travel since they've done time travel already, and then they could take over all the dimensions.
This is bollocks, Nazza. This is like
it is so very much bollocks.
Anytime you introduced multiverse like this,
instead of just
it almost always ends up badly.
Yeah, it's like if you don't do it from the start, it's always going to end up horrible, right? There's only one Western franchise that I like that did... Actually, no, there's a few. One modern-ish day Western franchise that I like that did time travel well, and that was the Legacy of Kain games. It was also Back to the Future, but Back to the Future I was tongue-in-cheek as well. Right? But the second you introduced...
I think they made a movie out of it, and I'm pretty sure it sucked. But I liked Michael Crichton's timeline, where they say I don't know about the movie, but in the book, they say right from the start, we're not doing actual time travel. It's multidimensional. It's yeah.
So
and that works.
If you start your narrative like that, that's fine, right?
Because their goals weren't to change their timeline. It was to
I mean, it's the same with Steins Gate. Steins Gate works because it is, again, it's multiverse traveling. Yeah. It's trying to get
but you have to know that from the start.
The right
otherwise, you just end up with stupidity.
You don't. The audience.
The author needs to know that from the start.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even DBZ did that right. So they sent Trunks back from the future to change the past.
Yeah,
but when he went back to his future, it hadn't changed anything. His future was still fucked up because it was multiverse theory.
Yeah, but it's like it's not a problem if you want to do this, but like you gotta fucking plan it from the get go. And like honestly, a large part of why I'm slamming Terminator Zero is because, for fuck's sake, no one is on the same page. The events of Terminator Zero don't have any reflection on the events of John Connor or anything. It happens before the Skynet sends the first Terminator back to... So, in principle, John Connor never happened, right? But it's just like...
But instead, we got an alternate AI that's fighting Skynet.
Now, like, and yeah, so can we take the spoilers off? Can we turn all this off? So yeah, the sad truth is Terminator Zero is a mess of a narrative storytelling. Visually, it is gorgeous. It is stunning, right? Some of the narrative points that they put together are really clever and everything, but they just ruin it by...
Feels like we could have had a whole show on just how badly they ruined the Terminator franchise.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to put stuff in the Terminator franchise, you are going to be fighting the current, right? It's going to be an uphill battle for a start. So you're already starting on a back foot. You're a Netflix production, you're already on another back foot. You've got an open-ended series, that's another back foot. Like, I'm sorry, I just... So many plot points. It's just like, what the fuck? Anyway.
So that's whole, 20 minutes.
It's actually less than that. It's less than that, because the timer...
I reset it. I reset it when you started your whiteboard stuff.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it's a while, but sorry, it had to be done.
It had to be done.
Indeed. Okay.
Right.
So, back onto regular anime.
Oh, yeah, so that was Terminator Zero.
Don't watch it.
I'm going to pick the Ossan Newbie adventurer, trained to death by the most powerful party, became invincible. So, previously on Kanpai Cast, that was a acquired taste 3. It's gone up to an acquired taste 4. It would be higher, but the problem is that the plot decided that actually we're gonna have the plot as a contrivance, and we're just going to do this as a character-driven thing. You know, they've got this plot they decided to go on, which is they've got to actually follow through on the old storybook and defeat the Demon Lord, which the old hero couldn't do. And so to do that, they've got to gather 6 magical stones and open up the gateway to go.
Dragon Balls, you say?
God.
Simpler. And so they find the first one quite easily. It's a red stone, a firestone kind of thing that's in a wyvern's den. And we see that before like episode 6. It's, you know, a bit of comedy where they go in and just defeat these wyverns. The next stone, however, is in the champion's belt of a city that holds pugilistic tournaments every year. And so they've got to go into a tournament arc. And they spend the rest of the season on that. The entire last 6 episodes of the show are a tournament arc.
No wonder Xeno looked disgusted a sec when you said you gave this a 4-star.
he wasn't too sure. He wouldn't have given it this. But the thing is, they did actually focus way more on the characters in this instead of so much the tournament. The tournament again is just a contrivance to get the characters to fight each other, to show off all the power. So we had some fun with the early rounds with our guy using techniques to hold back, where he like punches the air next to their head to rattle them and knock them out instead of actually hitting them directly. They move on to the actual tournament, you know, showing off to the audience at least, and to this other character on screen, the blonde. She's there in the tournament because the guy sponsoring the tournament is using it to win enough money to actually force himself into a marriage contract with her to become nobility. It's an overarching plot of his. And to do that, to win the tournament, he's put his adoptive brother in there, who is this genuine genius fighter who can copy techniques and doesn't give a crap about the rules. He's a killer out and out. And so this is the kind of person that they have to stand up to. There's great moments in this. There's lots of humor where they actually begin teaching the blonde girl in the same way that he was taught, like attaching weights to her and making her run behind him, dragging her by a rope so that she has to run to keep up, and teaching her the trick that makes the maid elf very powerful, which is a particular kind of unarmed swing that allows you to cut through solid objects by getting the swing absolutely perfect. And so he knows it, and then they teach it to the girl as well. But ultimately, because she's not the main character, she falls short, and he has to step up to the plate and fight in her place. Which is they did a nice character moment with that, where he used only the techniques that she knew to beat the opponent that beat her. And that, you know, it's a nice sentiment. And they finish up with a great big thing where, of course, our protagonists are the last 2 in the finals, and they spend, you know, this really isn't spoilers, they spend more time focusing on the fact that the orc, Broston Ashork, has never had a fair fight in his life because he's so powerful, and that our hero, our newbie adventurer, is being trained up to actually fight on an equal level with him. You know, so to actually give him a good fight, and so this is an opportunity for it. They spend more time in this series fulfilling the character's dream than they do focusing on the actual plot of getting the orbs to go off and fight the Demon Lord. Now, if that was clearer from the start, that would be a brilliant thing. As it is, it knocks a point off. It would be an acquired taste 5 for me if they didn't just deviate from this plot that they've got to go straight into character and tournament arcs. But still, it's worth a watch. It's good comedy. It's the thing is they don't do the same joke every time. It's not he's just so powerful, because he's facing off against other people that are also powerful. The joke then becomes more people reacting to the training that he went through, or the actual power of people around him as well, the other S ranks. It has a bit more variety than the average, shall we say, which is why I'm rating it higher than Xeno would.
I think one of the best ways to truly describe the series is the fact that the intro, right? The intro is so tongue-in-cheek. It sounds like it is being sung by someone doing karaoke, right? I'm not kidding, right?
You've hit that spot on.
It's and that level of tongue-in-cheek, that level of ridiculousness, stupidity, hijinks, it is present throughout the entire series, including the tournament arc. And I will say, like, the tournament arc is 7 episodes out of 12. It is stupidly long, right? I would not give it as high a rating as Thaylien, but I would either give it an acquired taste 2-star or a 3-star. It is certainly worth a watch, right?
Yes.
But I just for fuck's sake, like, it's not the worst tournament arc I've seen,
but it's still a tournament arc.
It's not the best. Like, I mean, is it Jujutsu Kaisen? The tournament arc was done in like 2 episodes because it got interrupted. Yes. Thumbs up, awesome, love it, right? The jokes.
The Fairy Tail tournament arc, where everything was just designed to be a blowout for the team, and say, no, we're back and in style. That was fun because it wasn't really a tournament.
Stupidly long. It was
stupidly long, but it wasn't a tournament. It was just Fairy Tail winning for the first time in a while.
So I feel that this show has a crap ton of potential, but at the same time, it kind of just falls short of being a must-watch. So animation-wise, it's gorgeous. Comedy-wise, is really on point. But I kind of wish that they did more of the adventuring, exploring, magic sort of stuff than fucking tournament arc. I'm sorry, I just can't. Anyway.
Right.
That's all we need to say about the Ossan Newbie adventure. Let's move on.
All right. Let's move on to another one that falls short, at least in my opinion. And Thaylien and I might disagree on this. That's Bye Bye Earth. We'll see. So last time I gave this a Nothing Special 0. This time I am also giving this a Nothing Special 0. It's there's a particular kind of narrative from young adult authors a lot of times, and this is exactly that. It's you got your.
I agree with you.
You got your bad boy loner and the girl with a mysterious past, both shunned by the world, but finding each other, but destined to fight each other. But maybe.
Add to that all the other males that are in the show.
Figuring out now there are still some good things. Like there's she ends up hanging out with the princess, and the princess is like so everything in this society is based around music, and the princess is like one of the best singers, right? She's super important for her singing, but she kind of hates it. She doesn't have any soul, and so they actually bring her to see this character that's on screen right now, which is a crane.
Yes, the singer. She's a swallow.
Swallow. Because everyone's
like a migratory swallow.
And she can't speak, but she can sing. She can only use her voice when she's singing. It's
a curse, Xeno.
Yes.
Do a rap.
And taking her to see this and seeing the passion that she puts into that is enough to kind of revitalize the princess. And the next time we see her, she's enjoying herself again. And that was actually a really good moment. I liked that. On the other hand, the princess, who is much taller than our main character with a much more slender build, gives our main character a dress to wear, and it's like, there's no way she can wear that. Why does it fit that well on her? There's no way.
Devil's advocate on that one, Nasuth.
She's a princess. They have tailors.
Yeah, that's actually quite common in the in English history, is that they would lend dresses to the girls, and they would actually purposely make them to be resizable and fittable to other body types, so that they could lend them to other people.
Maybe, I don't know.
But not that dress. But not that dress. You're right.
Dress.
You know.
There's also some of the mysteries that they tease at. There's something about the massive tree, which is their god, eating soulists. Soulists are the people that wield the swords, the swords that are apparently grown from the tree god, maybe. And also it's what's creating these nidhogg's, which are people that are possessed by their swords, so that it can talk
almost
to itself. Yeah, almost cancerously. But it's doing it on purpose, apparently. Maybe. But I'm also just kind of glad they mostly skipped adding more stuff that they then refused to explain. So, at least for episodes 7 and 8, like, those are probably the best 2 episodes in the entire thing. Unfortunately, episode 9, they kind of go back to more of what they were doing before. I'm also calling this as a post-apocalyptic world. They've kind of hinted at that a little bit. They say there used to be other gods, and like there may have been an overarching god that created this tree, and I'm thinking it's all just some kind of technology gone awry that's created the animal people and all the plants and everything, and that's why it's all music based. I mean, they had the piano, right, with an English word on it. They were like, "Oh, this doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
This doesn't make any sense anymore."
Yeah, the moonwork. Yes. Well, that's actually leading me to my theories, Nasuth. This isn't a post-apocalyptic world. This is on the moon, and the thing that's in the sky is actually Earth.
Awesome. Oh, so you think she's from Earth?
And that's why she's so strong, because she's actually in low gravity.
Maybe, but she was so young when she showed up that
yeah, you're right.
But as many things as I dislike about this, I do really like the fact that it's all based around music. They do actually take advantage of that to some degree. It gives the score a real reason to shine, and boy, does it shine. And then there's really a lot of spoilery stuff packed into the very final episode. Like, so much of the stuff is really explained. Well, I say explained. Referenced in the final episode. I wouldn't say it's really explained per se. And then there's a cliffhanger ending, but season 2 is confirmed already, so at least it's got that going for it.
See, I love the fact that you brought up the young adult or the kind of style, because they really did this thing with the characters where, where the guy looks to be falling for the girl, but then you see he goes and says something that to an edgy teenager would have been, it would have made perfect sense. But then, of course, as looking on as adults that we are, just think, no, that's completely the wrong sentiment. So, the part that he wants to sleep with her, great. He wants to fall in love with her, but they haven't yet. But then he goes, when he's all upset, he says,
"I'm the only one that will love you," or something like that.
Yeah, who else would take you as a female, as a real woman?
Because she doesn't have any of the animal traits. She's a beast.
Yes. Yeah, she's not like them. But if that was actually said in a real life scenario,
that's abusive. That's red flags.
That's abusive. That's abuse. That's flags. That would just absolutely. There would be no more romance after that from the person, and yet they try to perpetuated in the show, and that's definitely young adult.
Well, it
author writing.
is treated as bad in the show, but at the same time, it's clear that she still has feelings afterwards. When
it's just treated as, oh, you hurt my feelings, not as, okay, no, this is a hard line that you have crossed.
Yeah.
You know?
I think she's more upset that he ran away than what he did to her. But I don't want to get into... I don't want to say what it is because YouTube. But what he did to her is not okay. And she's just kind of like, but then he ran away. Why isn't he here? I love him. Girl?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Bye Bye Earth. What would you give this, Thaylien?
My previous rating of it was an Acquired Taste 4. It did drop to an Acquired Taste 2 in my estimations. Because of those things you said. Also, the whole theme of it seems to have been building up this thing of she wants to become a nomad and go out, and so every interaction has seemed temporary, and yet they try to play it off as it means something way more than it did from the amount of interaction we've seen. So
I don't think she's going to become a nomad, though. Yeah. I think that's out the window. I don't know. We'll see. I may watch next season. I don't know. It is a nothing special to me, but also I kind of like trash. I like hate watching stuff, so we'll see. Anyway, let's
you're
move
a weirdo.
It's a shadow.
Bye bye.
So, my brain feels like it's turned into Jello. So I want one of you pick one of my next ones.
Oh,
my remaining ones.
Oh, do Spice and Wolf.
Sure. Okay,
yes,
Spice and Wolf. Right. So Spice and Wolf is from last season. It has had its end of season, and I can't remember what I actually rated it before.
Is it gonna change?
Yeah, it is. I've had to go back to all the bloody layers to do it. Right. So what did I rate Spice and Wolf? So I rated it a 3-star must watch.
Does it hold up?
So I have to say no, it doesn't. Right? But not by a great decline. So I'm going to say this is a must-star to watch.
Must-star to watch.
Must-star to watch. This is how, like, my brain is damaged from bloody Terminator Zero. A must-watch 2-star. Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's a must-watch 2-star. It is still pretty good. The part of the problem is that some of the stories, some of the later chapters, which weren't in the original series at all, they are dragged out a bit. Right? There's one story that was just like, this is taking a long ass time to do, and then the last arc that they cover in the series, there are a couple of episodes where the animation is just like, what am I looking at here? Typically, the animation is on point the entire time. The intrigue, the subterfuge, the level of thinking, the strategy involved, it remains on point, and they do explore more of the relationship between our protagonists, as well as like the economic climate of the world that they live in. As they go from city to city, things aren't as easy as, well, we take item from one place and we take it to another place. One of the most interesting narratives is the fact that they catch out a trading company from basically diddling the numbers. They have a...
Is this the season 1 stuff that they were figuring out? Is that continued? Or is that...
Yeah,
wasn't that resolved in season 1? Or no?
Which
first core of season 1.
What are we talking about now?
The currency... manipulation that was being backed by one of the trading companies.
That one was. Okay,
so this is a new one.
I was actually referring back to that one because I don't want to go into too much detail about later stuff.
Okay. Just
but yeah,
sure.
the whole point is that they there's lots of like backdoor trading. There's a lot of manipulation and things. One of the later narrative points is to do with the buying and selling of pyrite, which is again, it's really, really interesting narrative. And especially when they involve alchemy, right? So I'm not going to go into any further detail. I want people to go see the series. The series is really good and it's already been confirmed for a second season, right? Which personally I was really shocked by. I didn't expect it to get a second season because it is such a niche demographic that will actually watch it. But if you've got an interest in this, you bloody go watch it. It's a really good series, and I imagine it's better dub than sub because you can pick up on the subtle nuances better.
Really, dub rather than sub.
I think so because because I think it's the original cast that did the original series, and they've now got like years and years and years of experience behind them, backing them up and everything. I think it's similar to Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Like, I cannot pick up on a lot of the subtle nuance in the Japanese dub for Ghost in the Shell that I can pick up with the English dub. So, and I feel that the quality and caliber behind Spice and Wolf would be exactly the same.
Okay, cool.
So, that's my opinion. Too much time reading the subtitles.
Yeah, I that is a problem. Like I often miss out on animation and stuff because I'm reading the subtitles, and it's like, man, why can't I just learn Japanese? Anyway,
download it in your brain. That's it. Let's move on.
All right, that is Spice and Wolf.
So, okay, thinking of backdoor trade. No, wait, no, not going to make that joke. My one is actually genuinely more wholesome than I thought. It's Plus Size Elf. And previously, this was a Nothing Special 3. And over the time, it's gone up to an Acquired Taste 1.
Fair.
With the additional caveat of I can't believe it's not hentai. So this one is genuinely a really positive show. So I've every episode they introduce a new character that has something about them that is causing them to be unhappy with themselves, and there is advice from our main from Naue, the main character, on how to address that. Okay, whether this is a werewolf girl that has been taking her dog form because she gets treats at all the parks and things when she goes up to people, and has gotten overweight. And when he's the kind of character that if he sees a dog is like, oh, so fluffy, he's a good dog, he's a good dog, he's a good dog, and scritches. So of course scritches her until she gets too ticklish and turns back into a person. And then, as apology for basically touching her inappropriately, he then gives her some advice on how to lose weight, and following his instructions the entire time makes her count him as the boss of her pack because she followed his instructions for so long, during the thing, which is funny because of course he says to prove the point, he goes, sit, and she does. That kind of just, yeah. But towards the end, they spend a bit more time on the ideas of our main character, Elfuda, and the fact that she consistently has no self-control. So her mother, apparently she hasn't been home in a while, so they send her aunt to observe and bring her back if possible. And her aunt, who you don't realise is her aunt at first, wears a full-face helmet and everything to observe what's going on, so you can't identify her. But, tellingly, she's there licking ice cream the entire time. like every scene, she observes something happen, and then the ice cream comes up, and she licks it from underneath the helmet. So they go through they reveal who she is, and she decides to do Spartan training on Elfuda to get her back underweight so she can go back home and see her mother. And now you're like, oh, okay, look, you're her family. I'll step back and see how this goes. But it turns out that it's the unhealthy form of training, where no, you get some celery sticks and broccoli, and if you do badly on your exercise, you get even less. To try to, that kind of proper Spartan thing. You're going to drag me around when I sit on a tire. You're going to do push-ups while I rest my feet on you. You're going to, exercise over and over again until you get back in shape, which is not healthy exercise. It's not healthy treatment for somebody who is overweight. It can make you very ill if you try to force that. And so now I eventually steps in and does it the right way and stands up to the to the aunt, who then says, "Okay, it looks like you do have the best interests of my niece at heart. I will go back and report to her mother that she's on her way and that she'll be back soon." She tries to leave and can't because she's got overweight from eating the ice cream all the time.
So that coming.
So yeah, exactly. They introduce a character early on who it looks like she's like the supposed to be a succubus kind of character, but she's actually a satyr, and she feeds off the avarice of humans, and so she likes to cook. She cooks meals, and she actually hypnotized Naue into eating her meals while he's asleep, and so she can feed off the avarice from him, and so he's getting fat overnight basically, and nobody can figure out why he's gaining weight. But once they thwart her, she keeps coming back to basically try and get her own back on Elfuda for foiling her plots. So when Elfuda actually gets to the right weight again, she's slim, she's fit, she's happy. On the way home, these shops just keep popping up in front of her with a different sales girl saying, "Oh, do you want to try our special fries?" Because that's what she's into is fried potato.
God.
Do you want to try these? Oh, you are a 10,000th customer. Here's some tokens for our for a year's worth of free fries from us. And just keeps giving her offers. So by the time she gets home, she's got like 10 packs of fries with her. She eats those, so when next time anybody sees her, she's overweight again.
Oh, gee.
Just sabotaging her to make sure she's not happy because she spoiled Sator's plans.
Yeah.
And yes, it gets the I can't believe it's not hentai note, because ripping their clothes is a fairly common process.
Oh my god!
Because they stretch them too much from being overweight. There's even a fun one where Sato actually gets Naue fat, and she does it to embarrass Elfuda, but Elfuda doesn't care that she gets stripped naked by the thing. She's like, this happens. I don't mind. But she slaps Naue on the back, who rips his clothes, and he's now naked in front of Sato, who then goes, "A naked man! Oh God, my eyes!" and has to leave. And it's like, it's fun comedy. It's body positivity, even though they are, even though they're overweight in different ways. It's that feeling of, yes, you can improve if you want to put the time in, but you can still have fun even when you are overweight. There's this inclusivity and different types of people. So this is oddly one of the most wholesome shows of the season, despite it having the extra rating. You can see on screen as the clothes ripping.
Sorry,
right,
I'm just seeing her t-shirt say "No fry, no life."
Yes. The t-shirt changes, so you get different logos on there, all about fried potatoes. In various shapes, like chips, like it's she goes to fast food places for the fries. Yeah.
Oh dear! I think it's going to stand up.
What's closed up?
Yep.
Right. Next.
Right. So I will do TP Bon. Oh, so that was plus size elf, just in case we didn't say it at the end there. So TP Bon, initially I thought there was only going to be like the one core from summer, and then I saw, holy crap, there's another core. Or spring, yeah. But I only reviewed it at the beginning of this season, didn't I? Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
This is summer. That's right.
Yeah.
And so I reviewed it at the beginning of this season, and then I saw that, oh, holy crap, there's another season, or another. They listed it as a season 2, but it's clearly just a core 2. So I was like, oh well, crap, I gotta watch that now too. It was a must start to watch, and now it is also a must watch 2-star. It has not changed. Oh, I put acquired taste. Must watch 2-star. It is still just it's more of the same. It is just a really good retro romp. This is a Fujiko Fumio project that from the 60s, I think, initially. That they've no, it can't be 60s. It must be later than that. Anyway, it's like it's made for kids, right? Because it's got all these history lessons in it. It's centered on these kids who are in, I think, middle school. But it's not afraid to get dark, and the humor is such that I think adults can still enjoy this easily. You know, this is family viewing right here. The first girl sidekick from part 1, who was his instructor, has now, you know, sort of left to do other things because he's a fully fledged agent, and so he gets a sidekick of his own when one of his fellow students, one of the girl that's with him, catches on to what's happening. So she proves herself smart enough to be a time patrol agent, and so she joins up with him. But the original girl does come back at the end of the season, and it actually fulfills a plot point that they introduced in part 1. So that was really cool. It could 100% end right here, no problems. But I would love to see even more, because this is just so much fun. It's a really neat way to show people history. Like in part 2, they do the origins of writing and a massive battle in the seas around Japan, and just so much cool stuff. I honestly don't have a lot to say about this, because it's just refer back to the first review that I did of it. It's just more of that. But I really enjoyed it. I really think it's worth watching. The style is really cute. It's in English, so you can, it's got an English dub, so you can just binge it if you want. Just really fun. Give it a try.
Yeah, I say we use this as a way to coin. We've had in the past still a better love story than Twilight, right? As a thing, still better time travel than Terminator
Zero.
Oh, wow.
That's a low bar, but yes, it is.
Well, it wouldn't be a low bar if they didn't do fucking Terminator. Sorry.
They're not trying to change the past or anything, they're explicitly trying to preserve the past. And so, yeah, I think that makes a difference, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was TP Bon. Nice short one, since we've had some longer ones.
Cool. What do you want me to cover next?
How do you feel about doing Dungeon People?
Done. Right, let's do Dungeon.
Right. Xeno would do Dungeon People all day long.
Oh, there's a...
In them up.
Don't ruin things. You ruin everything. So, if you remember the 6th episode review, I forgot to catch up with Dungeon People. But I certainly did for this time. Last time I gave it an acquired taste 4-star. This is super wholesome and everything. I'm gonna give this an acquired taste 5-star, right? Nasuth, that's nothing special. Yeah, so acquired taste 5-star. I don't think there's enough there to be a must watch, but I certainly think that any fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons enthusiast would easily get on board with this, right? If you like dungeon meshy, I'm certain you would like this, right? If you like, is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? I think you'll enjoy this, right? So,
Handyman Saito.
Same, yeah. So I think this has a lot going for it and everything. The whole idea is that the dungeon is... It's more than what it appears to be. Like, a lot of the time, in narratives, dungeons just sort of, like, grow and they appear and, various different things. We see that with... exist. Yeah, we see that with narratives like Reincarnated as a Sword, right? But with Dungeon People, we see that there is an administration behind it. There's actual an organization. There's people who construct it. You see narratives where they actually change floor plans, where they interview monsters to work there, where they do all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And again, one of the most interesting parts is how do they handle PvP? People actually killing other people. It's so before, under the original administration, it wasn't frowned upon. It was just like, yeah, okay, humans just do whatever humans want, right? Under the current administration, it's like, no, we don't tolerate that bullshit. We don't tolerate bullies. And those people, it's really interesting what happens to them.
Quick, call the bully hunters.
Huh?
Quick, call the bully hunters.
Call the bully hunters. So I think the most interesting part of Dungeon People is the exploration of the world. And again, it's do they explore the from what I understand, the main focus is the people who are staffing the dungeon, yeah, taking care of it, and the monster staff in the dungeon.
Do they actually explore the wider world outside that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
So and how the dungeon fits in that wider world. So it's I don't want to go into too much detail, but effectively, when a regent decided, hey, we're going to dominate this dungeon and, we're going to make it so that only people have to pay a tax in order to get in the dungeon, the administrators of the dungeon were like, no, they don't. You can take that and kindly fuck off. So... so it is.
Jumper is a place and you could shove that.
Yep. So it's honestly, it's a really good series. It's one of the better ones of the season. It has a very tame and childish appearance to it, but honestly, it's one of the better ones of the season. It's really thought out, and it has such careful, intricate descriptions of how it all works that. Yeah, you can just put it on and just enjoy it. It's actually done by the same studio that did... Oh, God, Apothecary Diaries, but looks nothing like it. Yep.
Nice. So, Dungeon People. Good show, then.
Yep, excellent. Good show. Would recommend.
In contrast, I'm going to go with one I'm not so sure is a good show, which is I Parry Everything.
Oh, no.
And it's... Last time I rated it as Acquired Taste 3.
Yeah.
And while I wanted to rate it higher because it did improve things, but then it's a mixed bag. It's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone sideways.
Yeah.
So it's staying as an acquired taste 3.
Interesting.
Because the show does expand. The other characters get their time. The rest of the world does get explored more. There's new strife coming in, and they do play into the fact that he has, he's trained himself and can parry everything. Okay. There's a fantastic end to the season where you see, finally, other people's opinions of him from when they knew him first. He went into the city to become an adventurer at a young age, and he trained for 3 months with every single one of the teachers for the different things. And they all told him to move on. And from his perspective, that's all it was. They trained with him. He could only pick up one skill, and so they told him to move on. And he's always felt inadequate because of it. But you actually get to see what happened there. So the reason, for example, let's just pick one out of them. So the Archers Guild, to become a hunter, right? And be trained for it. The teacher is just generally not interested at first. And she says, okay, well, see that stick hanging from the tree over there? We use it as a target. Hit it with a stone. And if you can do that, well, I'll let you join. And so he picks up a stone and throws it. And she has time to think, yeah, so when he misses it, I will... And then clack, it hits the stick in the distance. It's a long way away. It's a good throw. I said, wait, do that again. And he does. And he's incredibly accurate at throwing stones. Okay, he's actually got a huge amount of talent to be this. But the problem with this is he's actually attended the swordsman's and the warriors guilds first. And so he's actually far too strong to hold a bow. Every bow he holds, he snaps. That's why she never was able to teach him archery. And so she told him to keep throwing stones and keep practicing that, because that's something he's really good at. Apparently, he hunts these super fast birds called thunderbolt birds by throwing stones. So he can have a thunderbolt bird for dinner. And she said if she could actually give him a bow that he could use, it'd probably be amazing. And when she actually does turn to move on at the end of 3 months, it's not because he's failed. It's because she thinks he's absolutely good enough to be a hunter with just his ability to throw stones.
I have nothing to teach you.
I have nothing more. And so I have nothing more I can teach you. But she means it in a good way. He takes it in the negative, that he wasn't able to learn anything of import. So again, that's why he feels he's a failure. But it turns out it's the same for all 6 of the major teachers, and they wanted, when he had gone through all of them, they actually sat down, each of them thinking they'd gone through something a bit unique, and said, okay, so we will find this boy Noah, and we will raise him between the 6 of us to be the best adventurer around, but he's left the city already and they can't find him. So the only reason he didn't get raised by these 6 super powerful adventurers is because he went home. And this is the emblematic thing. This is where the ups and downs come in. He is still incredibly dumb. He takes things the wrong way. He fights against an invading army and thinks that all he can do is parry their weapons. And so he runs through the army at full speed, parries all their swords up into the air, and runs back through and parries all their shields up in the air. And moves on thinking, okay, they don't have their weapons. I don't have to fight them, But a bit later, all the swords and shields come back down and stab all these soldiers.
Oh my God.
So he's and you see from the invading enemy's leader, this terrifying figure, like blitz past him, stop, think, and look around, and then go back for more, like parry the war machines up in the air, parry their gigantic defensive walls up in the air, all these things they've brought with them, and it's just tearing through their army. And he comes back 3 times, and he's actually so terrified by the end of it that this figure is just tearing their army apart that he wets himself and runs away. But from NieR's perspective, he's just like desperately trying to get, to survive through this army and parry all their weapons away because he thinks he's a diversion. And he is dumb as a brick. And that does detract from it. So I wanted to give it more because I enjoyed it immensely while watching. But I did not enjoy how contrived the dumbness was.
So is it a case of there's a lot of narrative convenience of like, oh, he just was in the wrong place? Like, you said he went home, they couldn't find him. Did they try to find him and they just couldn't? Or is it like, oh, he's left now, okay, good boy.
No, they tried to find him and they couldn't because his home's out in the woods and not near a village, really. That's why he spent all the time alone, training.
Like,
Because
I mean, it just feels odd that, oh no, though, he did, like, when he trained by himself for fucking years and no one had seen hide nor hair of him. Yeah, that was it.
So they came back and some of them didn't even recognize him when only in that final battle I mentioned that they realized, oh no, that was NieR. That's who we were looking for, and he's back and he's amazing.
But the other side of it is like, when they told him to like move on, like, did they not explain to him why?
Again, it's that contrived dumbness. He thinks they're sending him on because he can't.
When they say I can't teach you anything more.
No. Sorry, I'm trying to confirm whether or not it's a case of they are clear in their intentions or their intentions are easy to confuse.
I think their words are easy to confuse, their intentions aren't.
Right, okay.
So it's he's taking their words at face value, not the experiences he went through.
Okay.
So it's that kind of thing.
I'm not quite sure how much I get on with this.
Yeah. So that's again, that's why that's the contrived dumbness of NieR is lowering the score that I would have pitched higher because of how good the rest of it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we go on to the next one?
That was I Parry Everything.
I Parry Everything except Xeno's attention. No, Xeno's dissatisfaction. That's the one. Right, I will do Shy. So, remember how I said earlier that How to Become Ordinary is a downer, and sometimes you kind of need that downer. Shy is the one I was talking about when I said there's another one that's pure hope, and sometimes you want that. The thing is, generally speaking, I wouldn't say the story of Shy is amazing, but because of the way it relies on that hope, and plays it out so well, it remains, in my opinion, an acquired taste 5-star. Not quite a must-watch, especially because of some of the pacing issues that exist, especially in the early part of the season, but also a little bit at the end, but mostly in the early part of the season. But as expected, Shy's attitude is kind of contagious with the other heroes, and it also turns out to be exactly what they need to be using. It's the complete antithesis to can I say this right? Amarariraku. Yes.
Amarariraku.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is the realm of the bad guys. The way the show visualizes the depression of first Sveta in season 1 and now Mai in season 2 is it's spot on. It is both beautiful and terrible. But again, it's also very idealistic. You saw this in the trolley episode where they were like, this trolley will either smash into this trolley with a bunch of people on it will either smash into another trolley with a bunch of people on it or go off a cliff. You have to make a decision of what to do. And Shai's like, fuck it, I'm saving everyone. Fuck you, I'm saving everyone. So it's a little idealistic. And that continues through the rest of the entire season. But I'm fine with that because, again, sometimes you want that hope. It's like with a lot of the Western sci-fi these days. It's all dark and depressing, and it's like, where's my hopeful sci-fi? This is your hopeful. I won't want to say hopeful magical girl because magical girls are generally all about hope, but
all about hope.
But the way this plays it out is in my opinion better. However, we do get the longest death scene ever towards the very end. But it's all right.
I love how that adds a little bit of extra thing because you know this situation is going to happen again, and now it's going to be in their head that this is going to be the result of it.
Every time, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
So that's going to add a little bit of depth to this thing. Is Shai going to be able to overcome that?
Because she still wants to save everyone. She wanted to save Mai, but this is the result of breaking the barriers. And again, can't give it a must watch because there's a lot of spoilers that I don't really want to get into. But so I can't make this review too long. But again, can't give it a must watch because of the pacing issues. And some of the weirder stuff at the end of this season might push people away from watching it. Because things do just kind of happen towards the end, and it feels like, well, where did that come from? what? Huh? Okay, sure, whatever. But again, I'm willing to forgive a lot of things because of just how
it's
joyous and hopeful it is.
Respect.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. Still a better hero story than My Hero Academia.
Yes, I will bring up. You said one of those weird things. I will bring up one of them because it was just fun. Was the villain with the powers of love, and so she makes people love,
yes.
And turning the tsundere medic to fall in love with Shai, but then also. You could see her doing like the overcoming it, where she literally reaches up and she tears apart the thing that's making her do that. Because no, this is so embarrassing. Why do you make me do this? And she turns her weapons into guns to shoot this person because she's so embarraused. But
that feels accurate to the character because that is just who she is. Yeah, I love the characters are all really strong, and I like that about them. I think we're headed to a point of now that we've cured two of these people, we're going after the core members of Amariraku next. And we've already seen that they can be kind of reached. And I think that's going to be the next. I also kind of wonder if Shine, so the hero who inspired Shai was Shine. The hero of light, and part of me wonders if there's a connection between Shine and Stigma, if somehow Stigma might be Shine, because they say there are other paths to getting to Amariraku, namely fear. What if something made Shine really afraid and they became Stigma?
Well, there's a possibility. I think there might be something more wholesome in there that Shine was actually possibly one of their parents or something.
Could be. Shine could also be.
The reason she stopped being a hero was
Unilord
because she fell in love and had a kid. Yeah, there is that possibility as well.
Or maybe Unilord was in love with Shine and Teru is their child. Who knows?
Adorable.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed for season 3. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure. Thaylien says yes. So look forward to more of that. I say go watch it, even though it's Acquired Taste 5 and not must watch.
It's technically going to be season 2 because that was season 1 core 2, but
true, fair enough.
They said, season 2 is in production apparently.
So yeah, there you go. That was Shai.
Confirmed for production. That was it. I'm not sure it's in production.
No.
What does Xeno still have? Nokotan? Alya?
Nokotan?
Let's get Nokotan out of the way.
Hooray.
Right. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. Right. Okay. This is part of the problem with doing this. The brain rot is strong. I don't know. I really don't know. The problem is with my dear friend Nokotan is the fluctuation in the events is so wild. It is nearly impossible to get a good read on this what the hell's even going on. I think it would be easier to comprehend if there was a dub. I genuinely do. Because some of the dialogue goes by incredibly fast.
Is there also a lot of punnage that
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of cultural heritage stuff with the show.
So a little localization might help.
Well, no. I don't think localization would work with this. But for example, they in one of the later episodes they actually have a character who is a huntsman, who has traveled from Hokkaido to Tokyo because it's basically Deer Day, where they're allowed to hunt deer and things like that, and they've got regulatory things on you can and cannot hunt stuff at certain times. It's rabbit season,
just like hunting
duck
season in America.
Yeah. So the guy's trying to hunt down what's called Nokotan, and he's wearing a ghillie suit. He's basically kitted out for horrible snowy conditions, and he's in a high school. It's just what? It is mental. The show is mental, and I know I still haven't given it a rating. I don't know. I think I gave it an acquired. I gave it an acquired taste 5-star last time. I kind of want to decrease that. I want to give this an acquired taste 2-star.
Wow.
It is quite a drop, but the thing is,
I feel the best samey.
No, it's not that they become samey. It's just it's the bar's set really high at the beginning of the series, and the finale just feels like it just drops off massively. The second to last episode, they have an end of credits clip where it's Koshtan turns up to the Deer Club and goes oh, sorry I'm late. I haven't seen Nokotan around. And everyone's acting as who the hell's Nokotan? It's supposed to be all within Koshtan's head. Literally, the 12th episode, Nokotan's there, and Koshtan goes wait, are we not addressing the cliffhanger at the end of episode 11? And he's nah. I was what the fuck? So seriously, the show is quite off the walls, but it's it sometimes it's too far gone. Other times it's this is fine. Other times the variation in the quality of the joke is massive. It is so this is shit versus this is absolutely hilarious, and I think that's what I'm struggling with the most.
In terms of brain rot, then the show has absolute W riz, but gets phantom taxed all to hell sometimes.
Oh my god!
Pretty much. Pretty much. Whatever the fuck Thaylien just said, he said noises. But I think this just indicates how insane the show is. I think in the second half of the series they had one episode that covered something stupid 18 different stories. Short stories, and it's just what the hell is this? There's not even that many minutes in the episode. Yeah, you get the idea. So it's a crazy show, and don't. It's not going to be for everyone.
Cool.
Fair enough. So that was my dear friend Nokotan.
Shikanoko.
What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? I think I'm going to go for one Xeno doesn't quite like, with quality assurance in another world.
Okay.
So Xeno has good reasons not to like this, but I am going to up it from my previous Acquired Taste 2 to Acquired Taste 4.
Okay.
So the thing about this, we actually had a talk. Xeno doesn't like this because the bug fixing and things, it's just not how games that we would make.
It's still on
fine.
Nokotan.
Just keep going, Nasuth. It's fine. Sorry. Just keep going.
There we go.
I must not press the button properly. At least my arms work. Anyway. So this is not how games can be patched or bug fixed now or in the next 20 years. Although we did have a conversation at one point that pointed out they do say that there is an AI running this, and that the other things that are happening are run by like less smart, dumb AI kind of situations. And the only things we've ever seen patched in the game are things the players aren't interacting with, which could be like more like software than actual game architecture. That they're then taking that down while the players can't interact with them, patching them and bringing them back online. But
correct, Thaylien. What he means is the local files as opposed to the executable.
Yes, exactly. So that one's there's a possibility that this could work differently to the games that we use now, but in the same sense, it does seem to have quite a few things. But the thing is, it does improve. Okay, the actual story is there. The characters are there. The situations they get into actually have some interesting meaning. Later on in the series, you have it's quite clear that somebody who was a player came through a village that gets consistently attacked by giants, and in that village there is one orphan boy that's probably supposed to be like a quest marker thing, that he's a regular villager, while all the other people there can be fighters and fight off these invasions from monsters. And he gets bullied. The boy gets bullied. The boy gets ridiculed for being just a basic villager. And so when this player comes through, he basically gets hold of the kid's stats and raises his strength and health points up to try and make him into a warrior. But he's still a kid. And inside, he hasn't actually changed the personality of the villager he's affected. So even though he can be a fighter, he's now a kid who still throws tantrums and hurts other people without meaning to. And so going through that village, our main characters encounter him and find this poor kid that's been ruined by a player, try to help him, try to talk him down from the existential crisis he gets himself into. But just as they're going to talk him down, he gets killed as a thing. And that, I'm not going to reveal anything more about that. And it happens specifically because somebody doesn't believe he's going to be talked down, or is going to stay talked down. They can't fix him. You know, the only way to really remove him as a threat to the other characters and the other players and the other world around him is to just
get rid of him,
kill him off. And you can see how that affects the characters. You can see how that actually puts a wedge between the protagonists for a bit until they actually move on and and try to get past this incident.
But it's not a real person. It's fine.
Put it behind them as an NPC but it's at the time they're going through it, it feels more real. And so you can see how it does affect them. Honestly, the actual storytelling in it stays solid. The they actually do use some interesting exploits, like wall clipping, where you can see actually this probably would work in a video game where they hold a solid object, run at a wall at the right angle, or run at a thin object at a right angle, like a gate, and hit it with the object first. It clips through the thin object, and so while it's clipping and they're holding on to it, they can actually pass through the wall, and he uses that to get out of a dungeon area. Or books that have been partially coded in with like flavor text, but they've not been given proper object parameters. So when he drops them, they don't make a noise, and so he realizes that he can use them to get past an enemy that reacts to sound. So he puts them on the floor and walks on the books because they don't have a sound. They can't react to him tapping them or stepping on them. They don't make a sound, so the enemy doesn't hear anything when he walks on them. This is interesting little uses of how a game can be broken.
Interesting use of game mechanics.
Yeah.
No, sorry, creative use of game mechanics. That's what it is.
Creative use of game mechanics, yes. Especially ones that haven't been patched out yet. So it is it does end a little bit abruptly as well. It's like, yes, there's going to be another season. It has to be, because they leaves them on a cliffhanger. And but at the same time, Xeno is right in this particular case, and it is detracting from the show, so I can't rate it higher as much as I did enjoy it.
Fair.
So that is quality assurance in another world. I am going to do, speaking of worlds, why does nobody remember me in this world? So, right off the bat, this is trash. I'm enjoying it, but it is trash.
Too right it is.
It was a nothing special 4-star, so we already knew it was kind of trashy. It has gone down for me to a nothing special 2-star, and yet I'm still excited for more because it's trash, and I like trash sometimes. I don't know why. There are some redeeming factors to it. It's the right kind of
trash.
Yeah, there are some redeeming factors to it, some intriguing things about it, but it is generic shonen with harem tendencies. The harem stuff is probably my least favorite thing, but it doesn't play into much. There's some occasional shenanigans, and that's about it. But it's really watchable, has an interesting premise, potentially some interesting background, like world building stuff going on, but like a world building does not an anime make, and so that's where we've seen it with Overlord. So that's kind of where this runs into problems. The animation has definitely also started to suffer in a few noticeable spots, and if I'm noticing it, well, especially while I'm having to read the subtitles, it's probably even worse than I think.
Good one there was they were having a very serious conversation, and they're focusing on the face of the blonde mix of all races girl.
The Chimera,
and
yeah.
While she specifically reacted to the things and had her mouth turned down in a frown, and her eyes narrowed a bit to show she was upset about something. Her head did not move the entire length of that cut.
Yeah.
Not a single movement other than her eyes and mouth.
Some of the run animations, run cycles have been really bad too. That sort of thing. So just like with the fight at the top of fight to the top of heaven. So when they were going up the different layers in the Celestial Kingdom to get to Alfreya, right? It plays out the exact same way as the first encounter. So does the actual fight with Alfreya for the most part, except that this time when the Last Riser appears to delete him, rather than him fighting back, he gets sucked out and replaced with like this weird copy, this weird mindless copy that has all his abilities plus some of the Last Riser's abilities. And it also, he also has embraced the Last Riser, unlike the demon lady who didn't seem to really know what it was. But the moment Kai mentions Prophet Sid, again, everything starts to fall apart for it, and that they still defeat him.
Interference in the world.
Yeah. They still end up defeating him, and it ends up with a pact between the elves, or the Celestials, and the humans for now, which is another noticeable thing that starts happening. First it was the demons, then it was the Celestials, then it's at the very end it's the spirits. So clearly he's making peace, rather than so in the original world they all got sealed away, right? Everyone but the humans.
Because Prophet Sid won.
Yes. But in this one, he's making truces with them instead, which I think is interesting. And also, even though they were sealed away originally, they seem to still kind of like Prophet Sid. It's I don't know what all that is. Hopefully, it'll be revealed in season 2 if we get one.
That's another one they said on the end credits thing that there was like production was going to be confirmed or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wait, to be confirmed or like
it was confirmed that production was going ahead, but not that it was in progress.
I didn't see that, but okay, sure.
Was it not?
I don't think so. Anyway, so also when they do the celestial stuff, the harem gets a member, because it's gotta get another member, and they all start, now that there's a triangle, they can all start really fighting about Sid. There's also a Hot Springs episode, god damn it. Although at least they do kind of use it as a way to integrate the new member into the group. There's also a lore-rich side quest. That's where we get our first lore dump, is when they find the other megalith structure with a statue inside of it. I won't really go into details because spoilers, but it is a nice lore-rich side quest. It's got kind of a Link's Awakening vibe to it, because we don't know what will happen if they actually figure out what's going on with world reincarnation and stop it. Like, will the world turn back? Apparently it's still going on. Like, there's an ongoing process. This is not the end of the world reincarnation. It's an ongoing process. So if they stop it, will it revert back to the way it was? Will all of the people in this world just disappear? But it also suffers from the no real stakes problem. Like, the spirits are way too OP. There's no reason the humans should win against them. And yet, they just kind of do when the time is right. That said, there is no spirit battle. Like, the first 2 conflicts with the demons and the Celestials all played out exactly the same way. They break that cycle with this one, which is good. I'm glad. I was really worried that it was going to be exactly the same, but then she just instantly joins the harem. Then there's the cliffhanger after the climactic battle with the Last Riser, and there's no, as far as I know, there's no sign of a season 2. So that's also a point against it. But I like the world reincarnation stuff, the Last Riser, what's going on with Prophet Sid, and what his plans with the other heroes when they were all locked away. All that stuff is really interesting, but at this point it's all just teasing. Like there's no solidity there. So if it gets a season 2, it might be worth something. Currently, it's worth nothing. Just some nice trashy shonen to watch.
Indeed.
So that's
cool.
that's why does nobody remember me in this world?
What would you like me to cover now?
You want to do? Did you already do VTuber Legend? No, you haven't.
I haven't.
Why don't you get that one out of the way?
Cool. Right, let's get do VTuber Legend. Woo! This one was a genuine surprise. I gave this a 1-star must watch. I'm gonna give this a 2-star must watch. It's not gonna be for absolutely everyone, but it has very similar commonality to that of Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. The antics that ensue between the different VTubers is really on point, right? You know, how often do we share reels with each other or shorts with each other where one VTuber does something utterly stupid and all the others just burst out laughing? For example, Gorgura, who is listening to the story about, I can't remember who it's from, but they're talking about in Australia. Fun fact, in Australia, we have grades 1 to 5, and in, is it like Germany or something? So, they have grades 1 to 6. So where's the rest? What? Is like, where's 3, 4? It's like, Gura. It's like, where's 3, 4? It's
That's
like,
actually
anyway.
instantly where my brain went to. Where's the rest?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and they have similar antics in this. Now, one of my biggest complaints before in the series was the fact that everyone is walking around as their personas. And I was genuinely
complained about that, yeah.
Yes, and it works. They actually fucking address it, right? So, for example, they have like a new generation of VTubers appear on the show. During the course of the show, and they don't know who each other are, and they're talking to each other, and you will have a blank, headless individual that's like, you know, like a stick man sort of thing, sat next to our main titular character, and then from the opposite perspective, you have the new gen VTuber sat next to another blank person. And it's only until they reveal to each other who each other are do they then see each other as their personas. So there was actually a valid reason for having the personas wandering around the streets, and, you know, so I actually in the end got on board with that, and I was actually quite fine with it. But it was important. So and again,
it's more a case of, it's not how when they're wandering around, it's not how the public sees them, it's how they see themselves.
It's also how they see each other, but yes. Yeah. So, and that was the thing that I really wanted addressing, and they did address it, right? So, again, you know, they have like different events and things like this. They actually have collaborative efforts and stuff. They do...
I love the fact they're just playing Bennett foddy.
Yeah, I don't remember them doing much more like this. But again, it's very much a slice of life if you are a content creator, which the three of us can really get behind, right? You know, we know what it's like to get all the hardware and everything set up, and, you know, again, like one of the events is they're doing stuff in VR, and you know, the audience can't see what's in the real world, but it's just like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna have a drink and everything. Reaches out in front of them, there's nothing there, and then you hear like the cracking sound of a can, and it's just like, I thought you had water. Yeah, this is water. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, and then Belch is like, is that water? Yeah, no, it's totally water. It's 100%
sparkling
definitely
water.
Not beer.
Yeah, it's not beer. You know, have you got a beer in your hands? No,
definitely not Coke.
It's like, why does your water come in a can? This is can flavored water. It's fine. You know, it's how it works. So
actually,
but
there are companies that sell their water in like aluminum bottles. It's crazy.
You mean cans?
Well, technically yes, but like they have lids. But yeah,
sure. But yeah, so it's really wholesome in the relationship between the characters, because some of them, like one of the new gens get like super obsessed with one of the older gens, and it's just like this is borderline not okay, and how they handle it as well is really interesting, the whole situation. And it's just a dumb, fun slice of life series, and I would recommend it over most. This image on screen right now is where she's put out like a Twitter post mourning the death of her microphone. You know, I get that. You know, when a hard drive dies, or a webcam dies, or a monitor dies.
Like, is there any kind of resolution by the end of the season?
No, that's why it's 100%. It's 100% slice of life. You know, there is no aspiring goal. There is no, you know, what are we trying to achieve? It is the rawest form of slice of life. I don't think you will enjoy this, Nasuth.
Yeah.
Right? Because you kind of hate that aimlessness.
Yeah.
So, but I quite enjoy it and things like that.
I do like the idea of it. It does sound really good, but I just don't think I would keep my. I'd probably watch 4 or 5 episodes and be like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. You know, but again, like if you're prepared to give it a go, I would certainly say like give it a go. Out of all the slice of life stuff I've seen, this is one of the higher up the list ones. Right. Can we move on?
Absolutely. So that was VTuber Legend. And I'm going to go on to actually probably what's going to be my highest rated one of the season, which is
Wistoria.
Wistoria Wand and Sword. It's not the one I'm finishing on last, because the one I'm finishing on last is actually more fun. But Wistoria Wand and Sword, I rated it last time as a acquired taste 5-star. It's gone up. It's a must-watch 2-star now. Okay. Now, this is a show about a warrior who wants to become a mage. Okay, a world of where magic is the supreme thing to have. He is a guy that used a sword and doesn't have magic at all. And no spoilers, this actually has a somewhat of an explanation towards the end. Okay, there is something that's not spoilers. There is a clan of people that explores the dungeon underneath their city in the same way that the students do. And it turns out that they are not mages either.
Sorry. Back it up. What?
Yeah. So there's it's only revealed in the last episode, but it is it's not really so much of a spoiler to say it, if you see what I mean. There's a clan of people that explores the dungeon, and they are not, as far as we can see, mages.
But mages wipe out all the non-mages.
Yes. The thing is, they're used as guides for the mages.
Oh.
They're used as guides. Yeah, so they're like Sherpas for the dungeon.
Ah.
Yeah, so they carry the gear and things like that.
Or, like, are they... Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
Can I want to interject here right now. So it has actually been confirmed that Wistoria Wand and Sword is getting a second season.
It's better because if it ended now, it wouldn't be all that bad, because they did complete the story arc that they set out with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is a lot more to tell. They've set it up to tell a whole lot more. There's a lot of threads they've started that they are going to pick up in another season. Definitely. But in this, the animation quality never dips. The fight scenes are fantastic. The combination of magic versus sword in all of it is great. And even the character development, where we go from somebody who is outcast to showing his strength in a school event, even though he doesn't win the school event. The win actually goes to somebody who's just being damn sensible about how to play the event.
Well, that's good too.
Then the final thing where they go into the dungeon for a big exam kind of thing, and everything goes wrong, and so our protagonist is stuck with 4 of the strongest mages in the school plus his friend Colette as they go down through the. They try to get through this disaster and beat really strong monsters. and he shows his mettle through the whole thing. He literally impresses everybody with his ability to stay calm, collected, and keep fighting in this situation where everybody else is at risk of wasting their magic, of falling to hunger, of needing to be saved when their magic isn't suitable for the monster they're facing.
Oh,
like a
is
guy
that why they
specializes in
have
illusion.
non-magic people in the dungeon specifically?
Yes. So it's like there's a guy that specializes in illusion magic that he tries to cast an illusion, but the monster doesn't have eyes, so it steps right through, and Will has to save him, saves his life, and so the guy is actually fundamentally, yes, okay, I now recognize you as a person I can trust. You have saved my life. You know, yeah, saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. No, it's you can see the characters progress. Even the guy that absolutely hates him turns into this almost celebrated rival over the course of it, where everybody suddenly gets his point of view as well, and now sees that it's not hatred, it's actual, like, I'm impressed with this guy, I just want to beat him. You know, there's character progression, there is a big expression on there. I really enjoyed it. I do think that everybody should watch this. It's not like blown out of the park. Everybody should watch this. Absolutely must watch everything. 2-star, must watch. So
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You know, everyone has ranted and raved about this. It's getting a second season. Typically, like, most shows that deserve a second season don't get a fucking look in.
Mm-hmm.
Not only considering what everyone else has been saying, but also because of what you've been saying. I think I am gonna pick this up. I know it had production, so it had like scheduling issues with the Olympics and stuff, and like, oh,
it
God,
literally only finished like 5 hours before we started recording.
Yes,
so.
Yeah. So lucky you.
Yes. All right, that was Wistoria Wonder Sword.
Cool. Now what, Nasuth?
So
next,
let's do NieR Automata version 1.1 alpha. I struggled on what to give this, because it goes. I kept going back and forth on it in my head. Because on the one hand, the ending is really good, really, 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 really good. On the other hand, there are some pacing issues, I feel like, and also it gets really, really kind of weird and esoteric at the end. In my notes, I put down this is some Evangelion bullshit or something like that. So I think that might turn some people off. Because I wanted to rate it higher, and then I wanted to rate it lower, and eventually it was an acquired taste 3. I settled on a must-watch 1, because I think there is still a lot of really good stuff here, especially like the art. The art is amazing. The quality of the art never dips that I've seen, and it does. In the end, it does tell a really good story, and those last 6 episodes are really strong. And I think even for people that aren't sci-fi fans, if you kind of, it's in some ways it's kind. They also never, like, Emil never made any other appearance, but anyway, if even if you're not a sci-fi fan, you can kind of look at it as fantasy with the veneer of sci-fi in a lot of cases, because the technology is so, you know, that old chestnut, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's basically what you've got here, you know. And since they don't go into a lot of technical detail about why exactly the black boxes and the machine life form technology are very similar, or machine life form cores are so similar, where the aliens came from, how the humans became exactly their current state. They kind of go into that last one, but not in super detail, right? It's just It's just said, and then you accept it. So for those reasons, you can kind of look at it as a fantasy, but it's still really good. I'm really glad this last section dove especially deep into what really makes a person a person. I mean, it went deep. It went really deep. That is the whole theme. I can't really talk too much about what goes on because it is very spoiler heavy. Although if you just watch the intro, you'll know it all anyway.
I'd probably say cover your spoiler-free points and then slap on the spoilers, because...
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so animation remains... The VAs, man, the voice actors in this are putting everything they've got into it, especially Nines. He's probably went from my least favorite character to my most favorite, barring A2. A2, obviously, the best.
Jesus fucking Christ! Of the two options...
Well, no, you also had the twins, and anyway.
Of
also,
the two playable characters.
Also, I would say A2 plays it very different.
Best skills.
I would also say A2 is played very differently from 2B, so that makes a difference. Music in general, sound design also incredible. I loved when the high pitched voice of the machine life form would give way to this really deep voice. Like that was kind of creepy and nice. And then overall suffers from some pacing issues, mostly early on, but generally great, and probably better binged. And that's it for non-spoiler points.
The and he goes into Evangelion bullshit, but no. It gets into NieR bullshit because throughout the NieR games, the endings of all the NieR games get really esoteric.
Well, yeah, but NieR and Ava kind of share that. So
you take that back. You fucking take that back, bitch. Nah,
right. So shall we?
Spoilers on.
Yeah. Shall we get into some spoilery stuff? I assume you have some things to say about this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be all in the spoilers. I don't mind, because I'm pretty sure Emil never comes back, right?
Yeah.
I think Emil is a vendor, and that's it after his appearance.
Okay.
So it kind of
in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just shows up as a token, as a non-fan.
Emil is actually a secret boss fight in the game.
That doesn't fucking surprise me.
Yeah, so he's a vendor. He does have a thing, and you can follow through a quest that's about him. That's not really a signposted quest. And eventually you get to the point of facing off against him as a secret boss. And he's one of the hardest in the game.
I kind of get where Naz is coming from in terms of the pacing issues, because they do chop out a lot of the content from the second half of the game for this core. But they stitch it together really, really well, and you can't really tell where that content should have been.
Yeah,
right?
I think they could tighten it up by maybe 3 or 4 episodes, but that's about it. Like by taking, by focusing on other things than some of what they did focus on. But it'd be really hard to, because a lot of that foundation is necessary for the end.
I also like the more in-depth backstory to A2. You never saw that in the game. Right? You really knew sweet fuck all about A2. You knew that she was the first assault model there, right? But you didn't know that she was basically abandoned.
Her whole band, and
yeah, like Yorha basically abandoned them and everything. You didn't really know about the relationship between A2 and the Resistance. In conception things. You didn't really... The whole thing about the virus hitting Yorha was so much nicer portrayed in the anime than it was in the game. And the game was just like, and now there's a virus! And we're like, oh shit, what? But
there's so much...
designed for the shock effect.
Part of the pacing issues is also that there's so much they have to cover at the end, and it feels like it's kind of squished into a tighter space than it should be.
Yep. The the fact that there's basically a third ending now to that is also quite nice. I like the fact that Pod 42 and oh shit, I can't remember what was the other one.
358.
Something like that. They basically go against the system. I was like, that's again really, really cool and everything.
But it just shows how this seems to be cyclical, right? The humans fought amongst each other, and then they fought the aliens, and that led to the extinction.
That's see, this is one thing that I really don't like about both the game and the anime. The description of the extinction of mankind is not properly explained at all. And it's fundamental to Devil or Unpopular, and like you basically have to go away and actually go read a wiki to find out what actually happened.
Well, either way, humanity and the aliens got wiped out as a product of their conflict, and then Yorha and the machine life forms essentially wipe each other out. I mean, in this case, the machine life forms jet off into space. But that's like just their consciousness essentially. And then the pods wipe each other out. They all gain sentience, and then they all fuck around.
But
so just to be clear, because I haven't actually watched the end of this season. The two pods that are from 2B and 9S go against the others, fight their way. What do they actually do? They fight the other pods.
Yeah,
yes.
They fight the system. So basically what they're implying is that the whole system is a closed net circuit, and they're running experiments to try and actually have a different resolution and things like this. So the whole thing is cyclical, like Nasuth's saying.
Yeah.
But did you ever get ending E on the game?
Oh, I never did, but
so you say that's a third ending. No, that's ending E of the game.
I thought ending E of the game is to sacrifice.
Yeah, so no, you sacrifice your save, but that's because to get there, it's literally the two pods talking to each other, saying, "Hang on, is this how we really wanted to go? Should we let this go on?" And so they literally go against the system. You fight against the credits themselves from rolling. Fight back, and if you succeed, or if you get enough
they have a different
help,
start.
It actually shows you an extra cutscene of them putting 2B, A2, and 9S back together. In a safe spot.
The difference here is A2. I don't fucking know what was up with that.
I don't
A2,
know.
Right? So basically, you have like this holographic image of someone else entirely that looks more reminiscent to Bayonetta, right? Sorry, like a mix of Bayonetta and Kafka from Honkai Star Rail. If you know who those two characters are.
Yeah.
And just like walks off in the distance with A2's body next to a pothole,
or next to a wall or whatever,
next to a lily.
Yeah, and she's got her long hair again,
those flowers,
rather than the short hair she ended up with.
Yes, that's exactly the point. It's not, they don't have that hologram, but they do have that's kind of scene with her and a B2 and 9S.
See, I thought it would be more interesting.
I'm pretty sure
to not know if she went with the machine life forms in the end or not, because it seemed like she might have, but
I think in the end of the game that isn't an option. I'm pretty sure the options are A2 sacrifices herself to destroy the tower to prevent it from destroying the servers on the moon, and 9S survives, or 9S kills 2B, they all die, and the moon is destroyed. I thought those were the options. I don't like this whole we're gonna create an arc, and I don't remember that happening at all.
See, that's what Skynet should have done. Just create an arc.
NieR Automata, the better Terminator Zero.
Yeah.
Still better time travel.
It is an excellent second half of the series. The intro and outro are bangers. I wish it didn't fucking spoil the whole goddamn plot, though.
Should I take spoilers off?
No, keep it on. The fight scene in the last episode was incredible. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
I was really like,
solid animation the whole way through.
Not only that, but like the fight scene in the game is just like you are on like a 2D plane. It's like a beat 'em up, right? It's you know, but you know the scaling the sides of the tower. It's just it's gorgeous. It's bloody gorgeous. I love the whole. It was so well done. The animation through and through was just fantastic. But I can kind of get the whole like esoteric Evangelion bullshittiness that Yokotaro tends to do.
Like you've got the machine life forms with their split personality. You've got the bunch of 2Bs. You know the pods talking about what makes a wish a prayer and a you know going and all that stuff. Just Evangelion bullshit.
Well, no, I mean Evangelion bullshit was all like you know, what does it mean to feel love and crap like this? Whereas,
well, actually, it's more what does it mean to feel fear? The essential fear of the other.
Right, but the big thing with NieR Automata is like, you know, at the end of it, are we actually human at the end of the day? And you know, it just makes me want to play the fucking games again. I swear, love of God. Yeah, I think it was fantastic.
Yep. So we're definitely still worth watching.
Yeah.
NieR Automata.
And one of the things I did comment at the start of the season is like I was really surprised at what they changed with some of the structure of events and like the way the narrative played out. Like I completely get it. I get why they changed the big reveal that was at the end of the game to halfway through the series. I really get it now.
Are we talking about
Yes, I am. Yes.
That's all I will say. Cool.
Right.
From NieR Automata onto you've got Alya and the Elusive Samurai, which I assume you want to save to last.
I don't know. I'm fine with either of them being last. So which one would you guys want to hear more?
I picked the last one, Thaylien. What do you want to hear? Alya,
yeah. Alya it is. So what's
which apparently, if you watch on Crunchyroll, whenever she speaks in German, the subtitles just say "speaking in German."
Russian.
Sorry, Russian.
If it says "speaking in German," they've got it really wrong.
But if you get it on the high seas, they actually translate what she says.
Yeah, which is like I'm. Well, it's the fundamental point of the whole thing. Is the idea is he understands what she's saying.
Yeah.
So the fact that they don't translate it is like, what the literal shit. All right. So last time I gave this an acquired taste, 3 stars. I'm struggling. Do I want to put this in a must? You know what? I am gonna fucking put this in a must watch. I'm gonna give this a must watch 1 star. Right. It's honestly surprised me in a very big way. The way that the characters interact is really on point. There's obviously a lot of life lessons and everything that have been poured into these characters. How to get them to feel human as opposed to, I've never had a relationship in my entire life and I expect girls to act this specific way that they never would ever. So
I've watched too much TV and read too much manga.
Yeah, pretty much.
I make anime because I was only ever raised on anime.
Yeah.
But the fact that the narrative, so the narrative goes into a direction where Alya has decided that she wants to run for council president, and she's going against the school favorite, who is the girl that's just above my head right here, and the rivalry that sparks off is absolutely insane, and the psychological warfare that goes on between these really intelligent women is surprising. Like, you wouldn't assume that, you know, one character would feel as bitter about it as she does. So, you know, she does things like, you know, we're gonna do an interview on the school PA system. By the way, just before we start, I'm gonna ask you, why do you want to run for president? And we're live.
Oh my god!
You know, and it's there's a lot of political intrigue, or political motivation. The speech, and again, there's a lot of debates going on. I would not hesitate to believe that the author was part of some debate club, right? And it's really clever. I really enjoyed it. The series is getting a second season, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the history behind the characters, like our main male protagonist here, he is estranged from the mother side of his family, and when I just want to kind of tell this part of the story, like when he encounters his mother again, the sheer rage, you can basically see his blood boiling. It was just like, holy crap. And, you know, obviously he didn't want to be in the same space as her. So it's a really interesting narrative. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. It was one of the few shows that, like, it's Wednesday. Cool, I get to go watch Alya. So, yep.
So, since there's a second season, I assume there's no answer to the will they, won't they?
There isn't currently, but they are getting closer.
Okay, cool. So at least there's some progress.
Yes. Yeah. Animation's on point the entire time.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a rom-com slice of life shenanigans. The drama isn't too over the top. You know, I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it. People should
all
go check
right.
it out.
So that was Alya hides her feelings in Russian.
Sometimes hides her feelings.
Sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's
she
when
does.
she's criticizing you. Yes, in Japanese. Get your shit together.
Okay, Thaylien.
So this is my final one, and one I enjoyed far more than I thought I would. This is No Longer Allowed in a Parallel World. And this show has just gone up and up. Last time, I think the first time it was a very low acquired taste. 6 episode 1 was an acquired taste 2, and now it's an acquired taste 5.
Wow.
So I thought the joke for this show was going to be that he has no powers and he just goes through his life without through his life just depressed and seeking his girlfriend that he can commit suicide with. That's what I thought. But then it turns out he does have a power. And the power is exactly what I would have if I was a depressed Japanese man isekai'd into another world by a truck. He writes people's stories. Okay, I am obsessed with stories for characters, for shows, for everything. I am obsessed with the idea of finding out what the actual story is. And he does this for people. So, whether this is one of the heroes that's gone rogue and he writes their whole story, and the correct ending to their story is that they get sent home to their world, that's what's happened. That's what happens. Or it could be that they're facing off against one of the big 7, like they've taken on the personas of the 7 sins of these fallen heroes. They're facing off against gluttony in the homeland of the cat girl, Tama. And it turns out she's actually a runaway princess. And the reason she's a runaway princess is because in her homeland, girls don't fight. Girls don't become adventurers. A princess is too important for that. And she wants to fight. She wants to inherit her father's martial arts and protect the country in place of her brother who died. And he, instead of writing the story of the villain, he's just greedy and wants to eat things and gain power by consuming other people, he writes Tama's story, the real story behind it, and how she, her real feelings towards her family and everything else, and it gives her the boost she needs magically, as in like the actual pages that come out of his book and surround her to tell her true story, and it kind of activates the martial arts that she wanted to inherit from her father that she had suppressed by being princess, and allows her to defeat the bad guy. And so you've actually got these stories going on of where he actually writes the reality of what's going on with the real situation. A conflict between sisters you think it's going to be about the guy that they both like, but no, he tells that guy to bugger off, and he wants the actual story of the sibling love that they share that completes their story as they realize the truth of it. But you couple this with the absolute ridiculous shenanigans of this guy by being half dead the entire time, and how he actually wants to, and how he's just looking for a place to die. He manages. He sees the truth of a forest spirit, and he's the only one that sees it. And in response, she gives him an infant supply of the tablets he keeps chowing down on, the Karmatin that is designed to keep his nerves under wraps, but is also a poison. So she gives him an infinite bottle of this, so he's just chewing on them constantly.
Oh my god!
They help out a city of dwarven craftsmen, and so they craft him a magic-powered coffin on wheels, so that he can get around. And in despair at one of the events that happens, he actually just drives it off into the middle of nowhere, through a village, and into a tunnel that's supposed to lead to the fairy enclave that is protected by 3 spirits. And he just runs them down in this. He doesn't actually pass their tests. He runs them down and ends up in the spirit land, and is granted the blessing of the Queen of Fairies. But it turns out that blessing of the Queen of Fairies is just a whistle that will summon the aid of fairies, and it's just one of her handmaidens that he gets to repair things. So it's not something he actually needs. It's like, I should probably clean this up, and it blows the fairy whistle, and when a fairy is summoned, it's like, wait, you're expecting me to clean this up?
This does actually sound pretty funny.
He's sitting in this screenshot in armor that repels magic, and he's absolutely fine with it because it's actually more like a coffin than anything else. He is determined to face things in this absolute deadpan way, and yet when he does step in, it's for story purposes, and it really works. So this is just took off and didn't stop running once it got going. Well worth the watch. Quiet Taste 5-star, definitely earned.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it? I mean,
before you do, because I had issues with No Longer Allowed in Another World, where effectively a lot of the jokes were it felt really drawn out in places. Like the oh god, what's the it's we got it on the screen right now. It's the story about him and the princess and everything. It's just for love of God, can we just get on with it? That was my biggest problem. Is it just felt like the pacing was slow.
That lasted basically half an episode, though.
What, the
him and the princess one?
No, it was a whole episode.
Yes, it was a whole episode, but the thing between him and the princess barely was half of it.
Yeah, I meant the whole the whole event, getting there to resolving it was just Oh, this is needlessly a full episode.
Fair enough.
That's what
I mean, you're entitled to that opinion, but yeah, it picks up and it doesn't stop. Is after that point. So
I feel like Thaylien is saying you're entitled to that opinion, but you're wrong.
he is wrong. Xeno's always wrong. Apart from that one time I told him he was right earlier in the episode.
Anyway.
Right. So let's move on to my final one, the Fable. So this is also one that started in spring and continued straight on through. I hit the wrong buttons in the wrong order. There we go. That's what I wanted. So this was an Acquired Taste 5. I think it was even at the mid-season point when I rated it at AT5, I was like, this has must-watch potential. And indeed, it has delivered on that potential. It is a must-watch 2-star. It is well-paced, well-animated, has humor, drama, and action, great characters, and you've also got Joseph Joestar and Dio's voice actors facing off again on opposite sides. This really just has everything. There's like so this season starts out with Fable and one of the Yakuza who understands who he is and wants to be a pro like him, going out to the woods, and the Yakuza is under the mistaken impression that this is going to be like camping. I mean, he's brought way too much gear. They make him throw a bunch of it out before they can go out together. Fable's out there with just his knife and his wits, right? And at one point, they're getting stalked by a bear. And there's this juxtaposition of the sister in a bar waiting to ruin this guy. You know, get him super sloppy drunk and watch him make a fool of himself because that is her thing. That is what gets her off. And so the juxtaposition of that and the bear coming to ruin Fable and the Yakuza boy, it's just perfect. We still get to learn more about the siblings through the storytelling. Like, we understand now exactly how his survival skills work, and his views on city life. So he's like, you can take what you learn in the forest to the city and use that. All those skills you learn, the ingenuity of surviving, but the skills you learn in the city are kind of useless in the forest. And so that kind of defines a lot of his viewpoint. And we also learn about her ability to size someone up and hit all their emotional or personality weak points through manipulation. But we also see that she's actually a badass in her own right. At one point, somebody breaks into her house, and he is supposed to be really, really skilled, and she handily disarms him, takes him down, and sits across the table from him like, now what are you going to do? She even offers him dinner. It's incredible. The Yakuza lackey was kind of annoying at first, but after the story I told about earlier, where they go to the mountains and go camping, not camping, but camping, he actually grows some, and I like that. I like seeing the growth of these characters. It paints, so the overarching plot of this section paints overprotective parents as a blight, blinding their kids to the harsh realities of the hiding in the shadows, making them weak and easily used or discarded as adults, which is, I think, a really important lesson for people to get. Fable doesn't understand the concept of Santa, and that is hilarious.
What?
So they get near Christmas in this section, and he works at an agency that does they design images for ads and whatnot. And that's not his job, but his drawings are so simplistic and wholesome that there are some people that actually like them, and so he's been requested to do some Christmas stuff. But he just doesn't understand the concept of Santa, like the whole thing.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you guys saw in our Discord, one of our Discord members posted a thing of, "Why am I still awake? Wrong answers only." And some of us had some fun just listing off ridiculous wrong answers. Why
doesn't Santa
not understand? Why is not understanding the concept of Santa not on my list? That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That needs to be more.
Yeah.
True Soul. That also pushes the concept that True Soul is the key to good work. Again, like his little doodles that people like, or killing people. You know, as long as you're putting your soul into it, you're not just doing it for money or fame. More and more glimmers of humanity in Sato, which is Fable, which is really nice to see. Even if he still doesn't understand these awakening parts of himself and is mostly going on instinct. There is less and less comedy as it goes on. It still exists. There are still some really funny moments. There's some really good sitcom-y moments, like the fact that he always seems to show up at his sister's place just when she's cooking dinner. But it does get a lot darker, which is kind of interesting. And then, of course, the entire final build-up and climax, which I won't spoil at all, is really, really good, quite explosive. And while it does technically end on a cliffhanger, it could stop here and be all right, even though we don't have a resolution to Sato's year-long sabbatical. But, I'd be fine if it stopped here. But the manga is apparently wildly popular, and the anime has done well. So season 2 is possible.
One can only hope.
So I really like it. I really think it's good. Some dark comedy, some dark absurdist comedy mixed with crime and underworld noir storytelling. Really, really, really good. That was the Fable.
That was the Fable. So Xeno, you got one left.
I do.
Hit us with it.
Okay, this is the Elusive Samurai. And I personally think it is a massive underrated work. I gave it a 4-star must watch. I unfortunately have to give this a 3-star must watch. Okay. And the reason
really
why it is still really good, don't get me wrong. The only reason why it has lost a star is because I fucking need more, right? I really need more Elusive Samurai in my life, right? It basically it's barely started the narrative of this historical figure, and like I'm really tempted to just go away and actually read up more about the history of this, actual individual. But everything I've said previously about the Elusive Samurai holds true. I love the way that it uses a change in animation style to its advantage. A lot of people have sort of complained that swapping artistic styles partway through an episode is so jarring and things like this. Yes, but it's entirely dependent on what it's used for. So you have a character where they're menacing. They have betrayed our main protagonist's younger brother and had them beheaded, right? When the shogunate was overthrown. And this character is seen effectively as a monster by our main protagonist. So when it becomes really sketchy, like as if you were to draw it with chalk and on charcoal paper and things like that, it makes it more representative of what the people are going through. That's my personal take on the whole situation.
Would you say
emotional animation?
Would you say emotional animation?
Yeah. Emotional animation, yeah. So it's emotion-based animation rather than anything else. Nice.
The Fire Hunters did the same thing, if you remember. But would you say it's good because it's done right?
I can't. I know what you're trying to do, but regardless, I can't really say whether or not it's done right, because it's one of the first shows that have done it to such a... Because the only other show that I can really think of where it did it was Furikuri, where they would they would pivot the styles and things like this. Instead of actually having like proper anime style, they would start rotoscoping real people and things like that, and it was really jarring when they did that. This, I wouldn't say was that jarring. It kind of like bucked up my attention to what was going on. They obviously had a lot of creative licenses with the events of the characters and things like that. That monster boar thing that we saw on the screen mere moments ago, that looked very reminiscent of the one of the boars from Princess Mononoke and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, also the history behind the characters and things like this. So, our main character is not very good at all at sword-based combat. He's got like the bulk of his strength is in his legs because he is so used to running away, right? He would play hide and seek with his tutors, right? And he is taught a technique which is like realistically is useful for someone that is keeping out of sword's reach the entire time, and it works really, really well. I don't want to explain what it is. If anyone's watched any shorts, they've probably actually seen a short of it and things. But it's an incredibly well put together series. And I just want to learn more about the history of this character. But, you know, as far as I'm aware, there's no word of a second season. So, you know, I hope it does get one. But
isn't this another Netflix one, or am I wrong about that?
I don't think it's a Netflix one.
Okay.
But still, it's a really, really good series, and I do highly recommend it.
Nice.
That's
Very
the
cool.
Elusive Samurai.
The Elusive Samurai.
Yeah.
And I think that takes us to the end of our reviews. Thaylien, do you have one more?
That's the end.
No, that's it. That is the end.
That was
that's
all
it.
of them.
Yep.
Yeah, because you stole 3 of mine, that's why.
Because Nasuth
then
wasn't
again,
actually
it's-
watching anything.
We're only
also,
just at the 3-hour mark. It's fine.
Yes. And only just because I insisted on drawing pretty pictures.
I insisted that I
very-
needed to explain how bullshit the timeline was.
They were very necessary pretty pictures.
They were
Yeah.
extremely necessary.
I don't think that if
Educational too.
I don't think that if I was to draw that and then just put it on the screen and then talk through it, you would have been able to follow what the fuck I was talking
No.
about.
Yeah.
Do you think that means we can label this particular Kanpai Cast as educational? For the
Yes.
YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't think we need to do a conclusion, so should we just jump straight into...
Indeed. Yep.
Yeah. Right, so... straight into the supporter questions. Zrugel asks, did you enjoy this episode? Well, there is a quick, easy, and surefire way to let us know. Hit that like button and leave a comment for us down below. If you think we got some of the ratings wrong, you know, feel free to say. And is there any show that we completely missed? I personally think that Elusive Samurai's been slept on. Yeah, you know, so... right, so Zrugel also asks, what 3 things would you grab from your flat in an emergency? I have
My
thought
cat?
about this.
My cat, my other cat, and my phone.
I have a literal go bag because I'm really forgetful, so I grabbed that bag. I have everything in it that I could need if I wanted to leave. So that phone, headphones.
I'd leave my brother behind though.
Yeah, he can grab himself.
It depends on the emergency. If it's a case of I need to evacuate 3 precious things from a collapsing building, I hate to say this, but phone, passport,
Rita Scramray
PC.
statue.
No, PC.
No, Rita Scramray statue.
PC basic.
PC's too heavy to
I
carry
think that's a
down
bit too
during
heavy.
a collapsing
That's-
building.
Dude,
Also,
who
that's
says
like
carry?
5 things. With screen, keyboard, mouse.
No, just the base
tower.
unit. Just the base unit.
Just
right?
the tower.
Okay.
Just the tower, right?
That is the most expensive part, so,
Yeah. So expensive. Right, okay. If it's a case of I need to run to an emergency, it's typically phone, wallet, keys. Yeah. Anyway.
Fair enough.
The Rikyu 7 clone that drinks coffee. Did you hate this episode? Well, there's a quick, easy, and surefire way to let us know. Hit that thumbs. I want to say thumbs up, thumbs down button, and leave a comment for us below. Hey, engagement is engagement. Am I right? I mean, who knows with these algorithms? What? Like, I'm not kidding. One of my shorts from Friday has completely exploded on Instagram, and I'm like fuck, I know what I did. So. Rikyu 7 clone that drinks coffee also asks, what 3 things would you intentionally leave in your flat in an emergency? My work Mac, my bed. I don't think I like run away with that.
He says he'll accept fictional answers. So I have 3 things I'd definitely leave in my apartment.
My Evangelion.
Yeah, that's a good one. But if it's an emergency, if it was on fire, I would definitely leave Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the movie of Cats.
I
raw
would
footage,
leave...
like the original.
All versions.
Sure.
The removal of the CGI buttholes would be a good inclusion in the fire.
Okay. Yeah.
I would leave behind the concept of world hunger, personified concept of world hunger, the personified concept of greed, and the probably my computer, because I have renter's insurance, so I'd get a whole new one.
Oh wow. Most insurance for like computers over here is just like, so we cover you for absolutely nothing. Oh.
I think I've got fire and theft on mine. That's about it.
Okay. The Nasuth inside you asks, did you feel indifferent about this episode? Well, there's not really a quick or easy way to let us know. So instead, I guess you'll just have to hit the thumbs up button anyway. Yep. Right, so Nasuth also asks, what 3 emergencies would you leave would make you leave your flat? Friend or family death, or like critical illness. I'm out of toilet paper. Yeah.
I would go for. Oh, Nasuth, you go first.
Fire, nuclear attack, and invasion of bedbugs.
Oh,
okay.
Bedbugs. Oh, bloody hell.
I would have said it was definitely fire. Flood, because, flood. And explosive diarrhea.
You would leave your flat for explosive diarrhea?
If somebody else had it in my flat, yes, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
If its flat itself was having explosive diarrhea,
the flat itself.
Yes.
Right. Okay, Subakami Thay says, do you feel aroused by this episode? God damn it, Thaylien. Well, there's help available to you. A slow, multi-stepped process for recovering from your excessive case of gooning. Don't push yourself over the edge. Get some help today. What the fuck, Thaylien? What 3 emergencies...
Found in our Discord. Links in the description below.
Yeah, what 3 emergencies would you leave your flat?
Would leave you flat.
No, would leave you flat.
Would leave you flat. A steamroller, a Dio-based steamroller, excessive exercise under Boston, and something involving flat earthers.
fair enough.
Uncontrollable gooning, losing the third dimension, and hydraulic press.
We'll make you a real
Nice.
VTuber girl one day, Naz.
Let's see. What streamers would leave you flat?
Did I say excessive gooning? Uncontrollable excessive gooning,
Yes.
I should say.
Yes.
Oh, God.
That way it's an emergency.
Skydiving without a parachute. Isekai by truck. And explosive vacuum.
Explosive diarrhea.
Wait, explosive vacuum? What the fuck?
Implosion.
Right, okay.
Excessive pressure.
Yeah, vacuum would do
vacuum
that.
inside. Yeah.
Oh, internal vacuum. Sure.
Internal vacuum. Yeah.
Internal
Micro
black hole. Yeah,
Yes. Well, that would clean up the explosive diarrhea.
it would. Very, very much.
So congratulations to our Discord for having the hive mind today. The one brain cell was successfully shared. Well done.
Right, so first of all, the comments from the news. So Strom Butter says, thanks for the news, guys. Okay.
You are welcome.
As Rugal says, I appreciate the sad news. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm glad you guys report it because it is part of life. Yep. I heard about the Nintendo lawsuit, pretty lame. I want to like Nintendo again, but doing crap like this makes it hard. Yeah, not wrong. Not thrilled about the live action Bleach story. Yup! Right.
I'm not hopeful about it.
So moving on to the comments from the cast. Zrugal says, I've not seen this hype button, but I'll let you know if I find it. Usually I wouldn't say I like movies or shows set in space, but if I have to watch something set in space, I'd prefer to be as realistic as possible. I mean, like, don't even make it fun. Space will unalive you for literally any reason, like taking your helmet off. Gunbuster was just about right for me. I don't think it goes too far. So Xeno wants a space slice of life, like a space...
Iyashike.
I recently learned that word. Nasuth adds Iyashike is Japanese for healing. Space healing? A term used for anime and manga created with a specific purpose of having a healing or soothing effect on the audience. Just like dungeon people. Works of this kind often involve alternative realities with little to no conflict, emphasizing nature and the little delights of life. Yep. I've never seen Astra Lost in Space. So, Astra Lost in Space. I may try it after Xeno's strong recommendation. The first time I heard about Terraform Mars was the live-action version. There was a live-action, and it blew me away because it was the most anime, non-anime thing I'd ever seen. Yep. On a side note, thank you, Thaylien, for the extra context with that VTuber meme. It's funnier with the context. Which was the VTuber?
The one about Bao the whale.
Oh, yeah. Right. Strom Butter says the Godzilla anime started out in space, and from what I recall, it seemed pretty brutal. Even though going back to Earth was terribly dangerous with Godzilla roaming around, they still chose that over space. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the 3 movie.
Yeah.
I've not heard good things about them.
They were very, very staid.
Okay.
Very, very slow.
A friend of mine likes Space Dandy, but I've never seen it. So you'll have to tell me how they depict space in that one.
Oh, it's a comedy. It's a genuine comedy. Space is There's one point there is a genuine thing where a planet explodes and they send a space surfboard to Dandy so he can surf out of it on the waves of dust. And it is one of the most beautifully done scenes in anime, but it's so bizarre. So space is... You want to see an unfit man with a pompadour haircut surfing space dust in his underpants? Then, yeah, that's the show for you.
In response to one of the supporter questions, I think I've been watching your show since it started, and I don't remember you guys repeating any topics, but I could be wrong. I swear we've repeated a few.
I swear we have two.
Yep. And then the last point is, I know I commented last week, maybe YouTube caught my comments and hid them away into the abyss. I assume that's last week, but yes.
Yes. The week before last week.
Yeah, because remember we were like, oh, Strombus didn't comment. That's weird. Strombus always comments. I hope he's all right. Yeah, apparently, he was fine.
Right.
Indeed.
And that's it for the comments. So shall we move on to
Les memes?
Les memes.
So all our memes come from our memes, generally speaking, come from Reddit. Although I think Thaylien has an original one this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably a super spicy one.
Yeah. And of course, we also take memes from you, the viewers. We have a spot on our Discord, link in the description below, where you can submit memes, and somebody kindly puts them together, grabs them and puts them where we can see them live during the show, so we don't see them beforehand. And all the links for the memes can be found in the description below. We host them because Reddit likes to delete them. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Let's do it. Xeno's getting tired.
Xeno is getting tired.
So this is our first viewer meme. Hug me.
Aww.
Really tight. Aww. So meme number 2. Oh my god.
Fuck?
Could Poe be Goku? I don't know, he is a Dragon Warrior.
Right.
Poe.
So that is it for the viewer memes this week. So on to my memes. Rom-com manga artists. And then this hilarious scenario happens. Drama! Also rom-com manga artists. Satisfying character development? I'm too poor for that.
Lol.
Neuron activation.
Oh my god.
Well, we know that anime girls are cats.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I think she's from 100 Girlfriends that really love you.
So you say. I don't know for sure, though.
Yes.
Anyway, pilot closed at 3 a.m. Scary.
Yep.
Does that ever happen to you? You wake up in the middle of the night and you see a shadow with the light just on it, right?
When I was a lot younger, I thought I saw a head, like a severed head on my shelves. I turned the lights on, it was a baseball cap. Just angled right, and the light was hitting it.
This is why I genuinely have no discarded clothes pile in my room.
I see.
Don't.
Right. New anime fans. Old anime fans who know it's Evangelion. Call it the dangers in my heart one more time.
One more time.
Oh.
It's totally Evangelion. Look at that.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Oh, it's on loop. No.
I wondered if... God, Nasuth.
Wait.
Wait, no, stop. No, stop. You can't.
How did you...
No, I was never gay. You can't just state something, then snap your fingers and then be like, I was never gay. You say so.
Well, how did that get through? Nasuth, that's one of mine.
That's one of yours.
Have you both picked the same one?
Uh-oh. How did that get through?
And also, I got mine in before you.
It's true.
Womp womp.
I assume that's your 6th meme.
Yes.
Well, now we know Thaylien 6th meme. Anyway, speaking of Thaylien...
The wolf howls, but the hawk tours.
Oh, God! Oh, my god! You. Oh.
That's my revenge right there.
Yeah.
Would you rather end world hunger or get Botched the Rock Season 2?
Not wrong.
I know which side I'm on.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Tell us in the comments which side you're on.
I'll take 3 or more minor characters on a harem, high school double D style, extra fan service with a tsundere and a yandere, light polyamorous relationship, make them ecchi, lewd them, and let them ship. We make slice of life here, sir.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Uh-huh.
This one, roll a perception check.
It's not a Bible Black character, is it?
No. Which live action should this not be?
I don't know.
I think this is supposed to be Metamorphosis, but I'm not quite sure if he's going for the light switch.
Xeno got it.
Yes, Xeno got it.
Still, I'm not quite sure if it's the light switch.
Kanpai Cast. They liked it. 5 whole people liked it.
Oh, that hurts deep inside. And of course, your 6th meme is the same one.
And the 6th one is the same as
Nasuth.
Nasuth.
Watch it again? All right.
Do it again.
I snap my fingers. You forget that you
Same brain cell, these two.
Exactly. Wait, no, stop.
Yes.
No, stop. You can't. I was never gay.
Okay.
No, I was never gay.
Sure.
You can't just state something and snap your fingers.
This
and
is
then
so
you
well
say,
done,
I
though,
was never
to be
gay.
You
honest.
say so.
I mean, I know it's simple, but it's
You
still well
say so.
done.
Alright.
Right. On to Xeno.
Titan.
Yes.
Because that's a NieR Automata Titan. Yes.
No, it's Warhammer 40k.
Yes, it's a NieR Automata Titan. Got it.
Oh, fuck off. Ruining everything. Skibbity bibbity babbity boo.
Oh no. There is a 4th.
Power rankings. How?
Wait, what? The fuck?
Wow.
What is that?
That's not.
Brother, ew.
Yeah,
Brother,
That's not.
brother,
That's
ew.
not.
Ew.
that's not right.
Right, and your next one, if I'm correct, is spicy?
No. It's none of them are spicy. We just forgot to turn it
Oh,
off.
okay. All right.
Next.
I love that duck.
Yep.
Yes. So cool.
Man gets tired of sitting in traffic, hacks into electronic billboard, and streams hentai. Everyone else in the traffic.
Oh, that should be spicy, Xeno. Come on.
Should have been me, not them.
Oh. And then Undead Unlock fans, with Disney Plus being in the bin.
Oh.
It's basically a case of like Disney
Why
Plus
is-
does not advertise any of its anime whatsoever. So, you know, yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, Denden's been pretty well.
Unless it's
Plus Netflix.
Oh, I see. Of course. Now it
Has
makes
Bleach
sense.
been advertised on Disney Plus?
Yeah, a little bit.
I never see it get
Bleach
advertised.
Bleach doesn't count. You don't use Disney
I-
Plus though.
No, but I get adverts all the fucking time on bloody Instagram.
Yeah,
Like,
Okay.
it's not so
No.
much on the advertisement itself. It's like one of those like at the end of the advert where they like cut a few shows in to like show the other shows that might be on there.
Oh.
I just keep
They-
on getting
they
adverts for
Fold it in.
is it Agatha Harkness or whatever the bloody thing is? I just like, I'm not gonna watch it. Stop pimping it. Oh,
But you watched this
Right.
advert 5 times before. Of course, you're interested.
oh my! Actually, I fucking scroll past it as fast as I can. Anyway, right. That is it. We're done. That's it.
We're done.
For this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and or listening. And now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai. I've actually ran out of drink. I've
Tradition.
Like there was no more drink in the entire world.
Just like there's no more brain in your head.
Pretty much.